Chapter 568. He had an inexplicable premonition in his heart that there must be a shocking secret hidden in this underground world. Perhaps, there, he would be able to find the mystery of why there was not a single living bird or beast on the ground in this world. Leaving the Linglong treasure pagoda, Di Shitian and Chen Shi sat upright on the Lingxiao throne and appeared in front of the four armies. The azure dragon, the white tiger, the vermilion bird, and the black tortoise each formed an independent square formation. They wore their own unique armors, and each of them had 300,000 soldiers. Every one of them was brimming with divine light and brimming with energy as they looked at the battle flag in front of the formation. The battle flag fluttered in the wind, the figures of the four divine beasts suppressing the heavens were vivid and lifelike, exuding a vast majesty. Waves of iron-blooded aura condensed on the battle flag. 2 million elites of the demon clan who had condensed their inner core stood proudly in front of Di Shitian. Their gazes were focused on the supreme throne in mid-air. They were filled with endless fanaticism and admiration. As long as the person on the throne gave the order, even if they were asked to jump into the abyss, they would not hesitate at all. There was an incredible centripetal force on them. The hope in their hearts was all on the king. When such a legion went to war, they could risk their lives and unleash boundless battle prowess. Scouts, lead the way. Di Shitian glanced at the location where they had set up camp and found that the Rock Demon King and the others had left in a hurry with their subordinates. It seemed that they were going to discover the passage to the underground world. After all, in this unfamiliar world, there was a kind of strangeness everywhere. No one knew what kind of terrifying dangers would be hidden here. With his subordinates, he could condense his strength into one howl. A few golden-winged eagles transformed into their original forms and rushed into the sky, spreading their wings and flying forward, leading the way. Di Shitian and Chen Shi sat upright on the Lingxiao throne and followed behind. Behind them, a demonic wind rose under the feet of the 2 million elite army, and they quickly followed in a huge demonic cloud. Suddenly, billowing demonic aura rushed into the sky. In the sky, a huge black cloud shrouded. It caused the light below to suddenly darken and become dim. The scout led the way. The tunnel that had been dug through was just 1,000 miles away from the base. At that time, they were excavating a pure gold copper mine. All of a sudden, they had dug to a depth of 10,000 feet. They had actually dug through the entire ground. The Rat clan didn't dare to hesitate at all and immediately returned to report. In front of the passageway, there were naturally Mouse clan guards. Under the guidance of the scout, it didn't take long for them to arrive in front of the tunnel. They were in front of a mountain range that looked like a continuous chain of hills. At the foot of the mountain range, there was a pitch-black cave entrance. Inside the cave, there was a strange aura and a bloody smell. It was as if an ancient ferocious beast was hiding in the cave. It made people worried and fearful. He could not help but stop in front of the cave entrance. Woo-woo. Wind flowed within the cave. Within the wind, there was a strange and terrifying cry, causing the cave to seem to be enveloped in a layer of cold air, causing one to tremble in fear. Fear grew in his heart. The Rat clan guards in front of the cave did not dare to get too close to the cave entrance. However, looking at the situation in front of the cave, none of the monster kings were there. Obviously, they had led their subordinates into the cave and headed to the underground world. Boom, boom, boom. The group of monster kings suddenly stopped and landed on the ground. Di Shitian glanced at the cave entrance and could not help but frown slightly. He said, "The aura coming from this cave has a very strong monster chi. However, within the monster chi, there seems to be an extremely terrifying demon chi mixed in. This underground world is definitely not simple." Just the smell of blood in the air, as well as the sharp killing intent, clearly indicated that the underground was definitely not a beautiful place like they had imagined. It could be said that it contained endless dangers. However, going to the underground world was inevitable. If they wanted to uncover the true face of this foreign world, this was their only chance. This place, could it be? Chen Shi, who was sitting on the cloud throne together with Di Shitian, felt the aura coming from the cave. Her beautiful eyes suddenly widened and her small mouth unconsciously opened. She could not hide the astonishment on her face. Demon realm. It can't be wrong. This should be the demon realm. Back then, my mother sent my soul to the source continent in the demon realm to be reincarnated. The fiendish demon battlefield is underground. It must be the fiendish demon battlefield. Chen Shi's face revealed an extremely complicated expression. It was a kind of surprised and somewhat worried expression. It was as if she was a wanderer who suddenly returned to her hometown and felt a sense of fear. Demon realm, this is really the legendary demon realm. What's with the fiendish demon battlefield underground? Di Shitian was shocked and hurriedly asked Chen Shi. Looking at her expression, it was obvious that she was inexplicably familiar with this world. At least, she knew it many times more than they did. Ever since Chen Shi left the southern barbarian lands, she had been overseeing the myriad fiend city in the exquisite pagoda, taking care of the progress of the construction. She did not pay much attention to the outside world. Although she had heard that she had traveled through the void and arrived in an unfamiliar world, she was not too worried. Once the myriad fiend city was completed, she could use the ancient city's power to travel through the void and return to the purple gold continent. Now that she saw it, she was surprised to find that this place seemed to be the most familiar place in the depths of her memory. Demon realm. After all, Chen Shi was not completely born in the source continent. Back then, she was born in the demon realm. Furthermore, she had an extraordinary status in the demon realm and was known as a princess. She was extremely noble. Later on, because of an accident, his physical body collapsed, leaving behind only a broken soul. Her mother put her soul into a seed of the instant flower, allowing her to completely merge with the seed. Finally, she forcibly tore through the void and was sent to the source continent until now. That was how the current Chen Shi was born. Chen Shi's lips curled into a faint trace of nervousness as he said, "The fiendish demon battlefield has existed since the ancient era. It is the ancient battlefield where the demon race and the demon god fought. Back then, my physical body was shattered by a powerful demon god in the ancient battlefield." There was still a trace of lingering fear in his words. Clearly, his impression of the past was extremely deep. "Shitian, do you still remember that I once told you that in the ancient era, the demon race was the overlord of the world? We were the protagonists of the world." Chen Shi took a deep breath, his gaze deep. "That's right." Di Shitian nodded and said in a deep voice, "Back then, in the ancient era, a terrifying catastrophe suddenly appeared in the world. The catastrophe swept through the source continent and even the myriad worlds. In the end, although the demon race survived the catastrophe, we were betrayed by the human race and fell to the point where we are on the verge of extinction." This matter had always been the goal that he had been pursuing. He had an irrepressible curiosity about the history of the ancient era. However, although he understood the general situation, he still did not know the exact situation that happened back then. "I did not experience the catastrophe of the ancient era. However, I know that the demon race and the demon god race were mortal enemies. Either you die, or I die." Chen Shi's voice carried a trace of coldness. There was a murderous intent in his voice. The demon race and the demon god race were like natural enemies. If there was one, there would be no other. His words carried a tragic aura. The fiendish demon battlefield was the ancient battlefield where the demon race and the demon god race fought to the death. However, the true origin of the catastrophe was still not completely explained. Lunatic Di. Suddenly, the voice of Ming rang out in his mind. It was a little strange compared to usual. At this moment, there was an indescribable heaviness in its voice. It seemed to be hesitant. However, after a moment of silence, it continued, "Actually, I know about the catastrophe that happened in the ancient era. However, in the past, even if you knew, it would not help. It would only add to your troubles. Therefore, I have never told you about what happened back then. However, since you already know about the demon god race and the fiendish demon battlefield, you should know about it now. I'm sure you'll know the whole story soon. It has something to do with the demon god race," Di Shitian said with unusual certainty as a glint flashed in his eyes. It was not a rhetorical question but an affirmation. Vaguely, He could not help but recall the bloody battlefield that he had personally experienced when he walked the heart-seeking path in the Skyfae secret realm. At that time, the demon god that he saw with his own eyes was so real and terrifying. In the Qin family, there was actually a terrifying demon god sealed in the demon lake. And now, there was the fiendish demon battlefield. All the signs pointed to the fact that the catastrophe of the ancient era was probably inextricably linked to the demon god race. Ming's expression turned very grave as it muttered, "Lunatic DI, do you know? The true arrival of the Source Continent." Source Continent. Di Shitian's mind spun quickly. Although he was a little curious as to why Ming would suddenly mention this, he guessed that there might be some important connection. After thinking for a while, he said, "It has been said since ancient times that the chaos world nurtures all things. The Source Continent is a supreme world that was born from the chaos world for countless years. It is almost indestructible. It nurtures all things and creates the world. It is endlessly magical. It is connected to the chaos world. The power of the world is inexhaustible. It is a unique existence in the chaos world." This saying was also a legend that had been passed down since ancient times. He. Wrong. Ming rejected it without hesitation and laughed strangely. This is just a saying used to fool children. Only when one becomes an unparalleled expert can he witness the formation of the Source Continent with his own eyes at the moment of his breakthrough. Only when one becomes an unparalleled expert can he be qualified to know the true truth. I didn't want you to know so early, but I have to tell you now. I don't want you to go out and talk nonsense and lose face for no reason. Ming was clearly full of disdain for this legend. He tossed out a bombshell and cautiously said, "Actually, there's another world like the Prime Continent in the primordial chaos. It is called the Demon God Continent. First update. Begging for monthly votes. If I support you, you must support me too. Third update. Third update. To be continued. If you want to know more, please go to www.chidian.com. I support the author. I support the original reading. Chapter 569. Demon God Continent. This one sentence was like a flash of lightning in the dark night, shocking Sakura to the point that he was stupefied. Shocking. Too shocking. An existence like the Origin Continent was a miracle born from the chaos. No one knew how many Yuanhuas it had been nourished in the chaos and how much chaos essence it had absorbed. It was a divine object born from the chaos. No one could create such a world. It was almost indestructible. It was vast and boundless. It contained endless mysteries. Even the chaos couldn't destroy it. It was already unbelievable that such a world could be born. But now, Dark was saying that there was another world besides the purple gold mainland, the Demon God Continent. All along, he had thought that the purple gold mainland was unique in the chaos. But now, he suddenly heard that it wasn't the only one. There was another world that wasn't inferior to the purple gold mainland at all. That kind of shock would probably cause even an ancient powerhouse's mind to go blank in an instant. It was hard to accept immediately. There are many unbelievable things in this world. Moreover, it's in the chaos world. Anything can happen in the chaos world. Who knows if there's only the purple gold mainland and the Demon God Continent in the chaos world? Dark looked humbly at the void and sighed. However, he quickly came back to his senses and continued, "You didn't hear wrongly. There are at least two ancient worlds like the purple gold mainland in the chaos world. Moreover, the purple gold mainland and the Demon God Continent are of the same origin." As he said that, he threw out another unbelievable thing. Di Shitian sat on the throne and closed his eyes. Although it seemed like a long time had passed since he talked to Dark, it was only a blink of an eye in the outside world. No one knew that he was going through a subversive lesson. What Dark said was a supreme secret that even the ancient giant didn't know about. Especially the fact that the purple gold mainland and the Demon God Continent were of the same origin and were originally one. It was hard for him to imagine. This was simply too inconceivable. Do you find it hard to believe? However, once you see it for yourself, you won't have any doubts. Ming laughed strangely while a wisp of blood-red light suddenly flashed through its eyes, and it rumbled as it charged out of heavenly punishment and imprinted itself on the center of Di Shitian's forehead. Boom! Boom! Immediately, Di Shitian felt as if there was a terrifying bolt of lightning in his mind. Suddenly, a strange scene appeared. His entire mind was immersed in it in an instant. What he saw before him was a dusky world. In this world, there was no light, no water, and no time. The passage of space was silent. Countless grayish gases intertwined together, floating up and down. For some reason, this strange gas seemed to be the source of all living things. However, this world was indeed like a deathly still world. Chaos. Could this be the legendary Chaos world? A thought suddenly flashed across Sakra's mind. Looking at the boundless strange world in front of him, without any reason, he instantly determined that the world in front of him was a primal chaos world that nurtured all living things. The gas inside was filled with primal chaos chi everywhere. Every strand of chaos chi contained a terrifying power that could suppress everything. If the ancient giant was here, he would be corroded by chaos chi and disintegrate into chaos chi. He would be completely assimilated. Thump, thump. In this desolate world of chaos, a sound like the beating of a heart could be heard. Every time this sound rose and fell, the entire world of chaos would tremble and a large amount of chaos chi would gather towards the center of chaos. Looking over, he saw a huge egg shining with purple light amidst the chaos. It was impossible to estimate how many eggs there were. He only felt that his eyes were completely filled by this strange purple egg. This egg was oval in shape, and the beating sound was coming from this egg. Every time it rose and fell, a vast amount of chaos chi would pour into the egg. The egg was like a bottomless pit, devouring the chaos chi without changing in the slightest. The chaos world didn't change in the slightest, and the chaos chi continued to flow, as if there was no end to it. It was inexhaustible and inexhaustible. On the surface of the egg, there were countless mysterious talismans that flickered with divine light. Boundless pressure radiated from the egg, spreading out in all directions and suppressing all of the chaos world. In front of this chaos world, everything seemed tiny and insignificant. It contained boundless power. It was almost as if the egg was nurturing some inestimable divine object. That egg is, he murmured to himself. Could it be that it's giving birth to an invincible god? Or could it be that it's nurturing an indestructible heaven and earth? Crack. Without waiting for him to finish his analysis, a terrifying axe light suddenly flew out from the chaos. Wherever the axe light passed, even the chaos was cleaved apart on the spot. At the place where the axe light was cleaved apart, countless earth, fire, water, and wind surged out. Vaguely, countless spaces were constantly being destroyed. The clear ones rose while the turbid ones fell. It was as if he was going to create a new world. However, it was instantly annihilated by the chaotic chi. The axe light was terrifyingly sharp. In an instant, the chaos was broken. The position of the purple egg was right in front of the axe light. The axe directly slashed through the center of the purple egg. With a catcher sound, that axe light was simply unimaginably ferocious. It actually forcefully split Zidan's axe into two. As soon as they separated, a mystical world emerged from the egg. Inside the egg, there was indeed a miraculous world that transcended the myriad of worlds. In this world, originally, under the nurturing of the primal chaos, once completed, it would have possessed countless mystical powers. He might even be able to transcend the chaos and rise above it. The eternal celestial realm was formed. However, under the axe light, it was cleaved apart on the spot. Before it was completely nurtured, it was cleaved into two by the axe. A complete heaven and earth was also split into two, and they were separated rapidly. They were split into two sides of the chaos. And that terrifying axe light also seemed to have exhausted its strength and did not continue to slash forward. In the end, the evil aura in the axe light landed in one half of the world. The other half of the axe light absorbed the purple gas when Zidan disappeared and condensed into a simple double-sided battle axe. It landed in the other half of the world and disappeared silently. Suddenly, the chaotic chi surged in. The two separated worlds evolved completely and formed independent worlds that existed in the chaos. Shocking. At this moment, even the most beautiful words could not describe the shock in Di Shitien's heart. He witnessed the evolution that was like the creation of the world with his own eyes. The truth of the world that seeped out from the chaos surged into his mind like a tide. A kind of understanding of the mystery flowed through his heart. Vaguely, he seemed to have comprehended many truths. However, when he thought about it carefully, it seemed that he had not obtained anything. Phew. He slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and said in a deep voice, "Could the scene just now be the true origin of the purple gold mainland and the demon god continent?" The two continents were originally a complete world, but they were cleaved apart by an axe light. In the end, it evolved into this scene. With Di Shitien's intelligence, how could he not understand that Ming was using a kind of primordial spirit imprint to show him the true origin of the origin continent and the true connection between it and the demon god continent? However, this matter was really too shocking. It was really too shocking. Those without a strong will would not be able to withstand such an impact at all. That's right. This imprint is the natural origin imprint of the world when an unparalleled expert breaks through. It can recall the origin of the world in the imprint. The purple gold mainland and the demon god continent are conjoined worlds that were cleaved apart by the same world. They have the same origin. You can even say that they are twins born from the same egg. Ming shook his head and said, however, the two worlds developed in completely different directions. The demon god continent was assimilated by the axe light's evil aura, causing that world to be filled with evil aura. This evil aura gave birth to the competitive demon god clan. Aggression became second nature. Moreover, they were incomparably bloodthirsty. Wherever they went, there were few who could survive. The demon god continent and the origin continent share the same origin. The demon god clan was born to conquer the origin continent and merge with the demon god continent to finally form the ancient heavenly realm. The way to achieve this goal was to invade and kill. In ancient times, when the demon gods attacked the continents, the demon clan was the first to bear the brunt. Among the 100 clans, there were also countless experts who fought. Every battle shook the stars, and the blood of billions of lives fell on the ground. Countless experts fell, and even the most powerful experts were annihilated. That was a battlefield. Countless worlds collapsed on the spot. That was a terrifying calamity, Ming said with some shock. This was a war between the clans. Wherever the demon god clan went, no other clans except the demon god clan were allowed to survive. They were extremely aggressive. In their eyes, all clans were food. If not for this, the merger of the two continents might not be impossible. Everything. Learn these secrets. Di Shitian did not feel relaxed. Instead, he felt an unusual sense of foreboding. It was as if a terrifying demon sword was hanging above his head and could fall at any time. This feeling. It made people shudder involuntarily. Come, let's go in. He took a deep breath and calmed his mind. He looked at Chen Shi gently and grabbed her hand gently. It was as if he wanted to transfer an invisible force to her. He smiled faintly and said, "It's good that I can meet mother-in-law. I'll fulfill my promise to you back then." Immediately, he sat on the throne and entered the cave. Here's the second update. Next is the third update. Those who have monthly votes, vote for the 1,000 demons. I'm working hard. Whether I can maintain the third update depends on everyone's passion. To be continued. If you want to know what happened next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 570. Back then, when Di Shitian courted Chen Shi had made 2 requests. First, he had to become an ancient demon within 500 years. That was to reach the 7th transformation of the demon core. For Di Shitian, this was no longer something impossible to obtain. If he had the heart, he could easily step into the 5th transformation of the demon core. With the power of the world seed, he could once again cross the limit and step into the 6th transformation of the demon core. A great demon was just a short distance away. He had long thought it through. This was just a way for Chen Shi to encourage him to become stronger. It wasn't difficult. Second, before officially marrying her, he had to personally propose to Chen Shi's mother. This was also very reasonable. After all, it was the most basic principle to propose to her mother before marrying her daughter. There was no reason to refuse. However, according to what he said back then, her mother was in the demon realm. At that time, he had no idea where the demon realm was. Now that he was in the demon realm, it was only natural for him to meet this condition. When she heard that Sakura still took the two conditions that she had casually proposed in the past to heart and didn't neglect her just because she had already entered the jade pool, she felt sweet in her heart, and a thick warmth flashed through her heart. She smiled at him tenderly. A woman's heart was often delicate and soft. She would be touched by some small things. My mother was the holy mother of the moon back then. She stepped into the peak of the demon saint. I don't know if she has advanced to the sky demon realm after all these years. Chen Shi rarely mentioned her family. In the past, Di Shitian only knew that she had a mother, but he didn't know much about her mother's situation. Now that he heard it, she was also an extraordinary person. She had already become a demon saint countless years ago. After all these years, she cultivated in this place where the heaven and earth essence energy was unusually abundant. Her advancement would definitely be rapid. Stepping into the sky demon realm would probably be a matter of time. They went all the way into the cave. Behind them, the 4 legions followed. They lined up neatly and entered in order. The cave was like a bottomless pit. No matter how many people entered, there was no change in the cave. The cave was abnormally dark. However, in the eyes of the demons, darkness was no different from daytime. While passing through the cave, Di Shitian asked Chen Shi some questions about the underground world. He immediately knew that the underground world was basically an ancient battlefield. There were many demon clans in the underground world. Moreover, because the demon clans in the demon world had migrated here since ancient times, some of the orthodoxies in the demon clan were more complete than those in the purple and gold mainland. However, there were still quite a few that were lost. In addition, the heaven and earth yuan qi in this world was abundant, making it the most suitable place for demons to reproduce. Therefore, the various races quickly multiplied here, and their numbers increased rapidly. At the peak of their development, the number of the various races in the demon race exceeded 100 million. This allowed the heavy injuries suffered during the ancient times to have a chance to breathe. At its peak, 8 sky demons were born. 32 monster saints. There were thousands of great demons. There were countless demon monarchs. There were countless small demons. Based on this situation, it would not be difficult for them to recover their former glory if they recuperated. However, although the demon god continent was forced to retreat, there were still remnants of the passageway that could not be completely sealed. 2 of them were the most crucial ones. One was the heaven domain, and the other was the demon world. These 2 major worlds were opened up to seal the passageway and to be the first battlefield in the war against the demon god clan. Unexpectedly, the demon god clan did not give up after retreating. Just as the demons were recuperating, the sealed passageway was broken open, and the demon god clan surged into the demon world. The blood feud between the demons and the demon god clan was impossible to be reconciled. Naturally, they started killing each other. The underground world was completely turned into the demon ancient battlefield. The plan to recuperate was completely interrupted. The battle with the demon god clan drained the already depleted resources of the demon clan almost every moment. Who knew how many demon elites would be lost in every war? The most despicable thing was that when the demon god clan rushed into the demon world, the humans actually acted again. Several powerful experts joined hands to seal the demon world, causing it to become a situation where one could enter but not leave. It was impossible to leave even if one wanted to. They really wanted to do things to the extreme. As such, they called it preventing the demon god clan from invading the source world. As a result, since ancient times, no news from the demon world reached the source world, and not a single expert came. This directly caused the demon clan in the purple gold mainland to decline continuously. There were no experts to support the situation. After listening to Chen Shi's description of the demon battlefield, Di Shitian could not help but snort sarcastically. He said, "The humans flaunt themselves as the protagonists of the world. Natural Taoist aptitude. They have a strong sense of selfishness in their bones and cannot tolerate the existence of other races. Even if there are, they will think of ways to suppress or even exterminate them. However, when the demon god continent launches a large-scale attack next time, I'm afraid we won't know who will be the exterminator." He felt disdain in his heart. What the humans did was basically cutting off their own arm. Even the demons of the past could not resist. No matter how strong the humans were now, how could they compare to the 100 races and the demons of the past? The cave was rugged all the way down. Soon, they passed through the cave. They were close to the entrance of the underground world. All of a sudden, the sound of a desperate battle rang out in his ears. "Kill! Kill! These damned demon god combat beasts! How can they reproduce so quickly? We can't kill them all. My father died under the claws of you demonic god battle beasts. Die! Quick! Kill these demon god combat beasts! Quickly go and help the other brothers. There are fewer and fewer demons who can fight. Every brother is precious. Heavenly demons, Lord Ghost Chariot is fighting with the demon gods. We can't be cowards. One killed means one less. Kill. Reinforcements, we have reinforcements. More than 9 million demon brothers just came from outside. I heard they came from the Purple Gold mainland. That is the source of our demon clan. However, their cultivation was too weak. Coming here was simply sending them to their deaths. Now, they have all been sent to the back of the battlefield. However, it is good to have reinforcements. With this batch of reinforcements, we can at least hold on for a few more decades." The sounds of fighting continuously entered the ears of Di Shitian and the others. Those tragic sounds of fighting carried a decisive charm. Listening to the shouts inside, it seemed that the Rock Demon King and the others had arrived first. Moreover, they seemed to have a connection with the inside. However, they were despised for not having strong combat strength. Hearing this, the Rock Demon King and the others probably felt a sense of shame and resentment in their hearts. War. The demon clan was fighting with the demon god clan. A thought flashed through his mind. In his body, the blood suddenly began to boil. His eyes shone brightly, emitting a raging flame. He said coldly, "Demon god clan? My ancestors could kill you all. Today, how can I, Di Shitian, fall behind?" His body surged with a strong fighting spirit. "All demons, listen up, follow me to kill the enemy." With a loud roar, he drove the soaring sky throne and rushed into the cave. This rush. The scenery in front of him suddenly changed. He saw that in front of him, there was a dim scenery everywhere. In the sky, there was a grey cloud. In the air, there was a tragic murderous aura. Demon aura was so dense that it couldn't be dispersed. It filled every inch of space between heaven and earth. Below. The first thing that entered his eyes was the countless dense and terrifying mantises on the ground. These mantises were all incomparably huge, at least more than 10 meters tall. Countless strange talismans emerged from the shells on their bodies, emitting a strange demonic aura. Not to mention their 2 blood-red eyes, their 2 forelimbs were in the shape of scythes. When they waved, they cut open the void. Moreover, their speed was very fast. In mid-air, they pulled out countless terrifying phantoms. They were faster than lightning. There were no less than hundreds of thousands of such mantises on the ground. There were also demon arrow wolves covered in thorns. The hair on their bodies was like steel needles, standing upright. When they were shot out, they were more terrifying than sharp arrows. Especially when it was pitch black above, if they were stabbed, they would probably be poisoned to death. Some other terrifying monsters were equally terrifying. There were many of them, densely packed. They constantly emerged from a pitch-black hole in the void. There was also a terrifying demon god that was thousands of feet tall and had 8 arms on its body. It swept across the battlefield. Its power was simply terrifying. With a casual slap, it could even smash a mountain into powder. As its huge feet trampled, the demon god battle beasts along the way were directly trampled into meat paste, regardless of whether they were enemies or allies. There was a bloodthirsty glow in their eyes. 8-armed demon god clan. Back then, he had seen them on Wenshin Road. Looking at the demonic aura emitted from these demon gods, each of them had a terrifying power comparable to that of a great demon. Their destructive power was extremely shocking. Their faces were hideous and terrifying. Countless demons waved the battle blades in their hands with determined faces, risking their lives to fight those demon god battle beasts. All the demons present had the cultivation of an ancient demon king. There were no less than 1 million demons. Every demon had a strong murderous aura around them. These demon kings, who would be powerful if they were placed in the source mainland, were fighting the demon god clan dauntlessly. They would not retreat even if they died. The ancient demon race's courage to fight against the heavens was completely displayed. Blood dyed the blue sky. A man's heart was as hard as steel. Every slash was like the god of death. His roar frightened ghosts and gods. Looking at the tragic battlefield in front of him, Di Shitian's blood was boiling. The tiger soul behind him was so stimulated that it kept vibrating, letting out low tiger roars. Boom. Boom. Behind him, 1.2 million elites entered the battlefield. The battle flags of the 4 major armies fluttered. They watched the battlefield without fear. The light in their eyes was completely focused on Di Shitian. As long as he gave the order, even if it was a mountain of blades, they would still charge forward. All troops, listen to my order, form the battle formation and fight the demon god. 3rd update. Seeking monthly votes. To be continued. If you want to know what happened next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 571. Fight, fight, fight. You must use me in battle. I'm invincible. Kai Hua and the other commanders watched the demon race fight the demon gods with no regard for their own safety. Their eyes were filled with boundless battle intent, and the blood in their bodies was boiling. It was as if their ancient ancestors were silently watching them. This was how a man should be. Don't let a woman's heart be wrapped around a man's body. Green Dragon Army, listen up. Green Dragon Battle Formation. Kai Hua's eyes were bloodshot. Wisps of red flames rose on his green dragon battle armor. He waved the battle flag in his hand. Immediately, the 300,000 Green Dragon Army soldiers behind him moved quickly. With Kai Hua and Long Rui in the lead, each of them stepped into their respective positions and arranged themselves in a mysterious manner. In the blink of an eye, they formed the image of a divine dragon. You must use me in battle. I'm invincible. Green Dragon Battle Formation. Dragon roars to the 9 heavens. The battle flag in the Green Dragon battle flag suddenly expanded violently. Countless Green Dragon battle aura roared out of the flag and turned into a green cloud that enveloped the entire Green Dragon army. In the blink of an eye, the entire army was completely covered. Roar. The green cloud rolled, and a vast pressure spread from the clouds without reservation. Suddenly, a green dragon claw tore through the clouds. An incomparably large dragon head roared as it drilled out of the clouds and occupied the green cloud. It was 3,000 feet long, covered in lifelike dragon scales, and had 5 claws under its body. The dragon's pressure pressed down on the ferocious demon god battle beast below like a tide. The dragon's body danced, shaking the void. His aura was actually not inferior to that of a peak great demon. 300,000. 300,000 elite demon soldiers who had condensed their inner cores and had now broken through to the first transformation of Yaodan. All their strength was gathered under the battle formation, and the battle formation was deduced to the limit. 300,000 elites gathered into one. Their entire combat prowess merged into one. The azure dragon that was formed naturally displayed the vast might of the 4 divine beasts. The azure dragon let out a roar, and circles of azure ripples rolled towards the demon god battle beasts like a tide. Wherever the ripples passed, a large number of demon god battle beasts were turned into dust, and their internal organs were all crushed. No less than 3 to 4,000 fiend celestial beasts died under the dragon roar. It should be known that the demon god battle beasts on the battlefield were almost as powerful as demon kings. However, he was killed by a dragon's roar. From this, one could see how terrifying the azure dragon's battle prowess was. You must use me in battle. I am invincible. White Tiger Battle Formation. Wind rends the heavens. Yuan Zhong, the commander of the White Tiger Legion, had an excited look in his eyes. He led his vice-commander, Shishitian, and Kue Nyo to the front. The war flag in his hand fluttered, and the legion behind him quickly got into a battle formation. The formation was shaped like a ferocious tiger. Between heaven and earth, Gungjin Chi madly gathered. Within the banners, gusts of wind blew, enveloping the entire army. Roar. A domineering tiger roar came from the countless terrifying hurricanes. A white tiger that was at least 3,000 feet tall with a pair of huge wings on its back was revealed. Its eyes revealed the aura of a king, and its body was filled with a fierce murderous aura. The sharp power of Gungjin was unmistakable. With a flap of its wings, 2 domineering hurricanes immediately swept out. Within the hurricanes, there were countless golden wind blades. They could almost cut through a vacuum, and their sharpness was unparalleled. All the demon god battle beasts that were swept into the hurricanes were sliced and minced. They were cut into countless pieces of flesh and fell to the ground. The strength of the white tiger was not inferior to that of the azure dragon. It also had the powerful battle prowess of a great demon. Almost at the same time, within a ball of scorching white flames, a huge vermilion divine bird spread its wings as if it was reborn. As it flapped its wings, a rain of fire descended. When it landed on the ground, everything that came into contact with it was incinerated into dust. The vermilion bird divine fire on its body burned fiercely. The temperature in the air instantly rose. And from the ground, a huge black tortoise rushed out. The tortoise and snake merged into one body, suppressing an area. The strange snake that was coiled on the tortoise shell opened its mouth and spat out the most domineering cold air, freezing the world. Boom, boom, boom. Under the power of the divine beast battle formation, the 4 great legions had all transformed into divine beasts. The green dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise were all gathered together. Their auras were soaring to the sky as they emitted a vast amount of pressure. They directly charged towards the overwhelming number of demon god battle beasts. They all unleashed the powerful battle prowess of the divine beasts. In front of the demon god battle beasts, there was almost no stopping them from wantonly slaughtering. The participation of the 4 major armies immediately created a powerful deterrent force that directly suppressed the ferocity of the demon god battle beasts. The sudden addition of reinforcements boosted the morale of the demon god battle beasts. Their morale suddenly rose, and it was as if their bodies were injected with endless power in an instant. Haha, I knew it. How could the demon race fall so easily? The demon race of the Source Continent did not disappoint us. They actually have such a trick up their sleeve. Good. Good. TSK, using the battle formation to condense the 4 divine beasts, each of whom is at the peak of the great demon realm. Their battle prowess is comparable to that of a demon saint. This time, our chances of winning against the demon god battle beasts have greatly increased. Kill. Kill. These demon beasts deserve to die. Their reproductive abilities are too terrifying. We don't know how many of our brothers are slaughtered each time. Reinforcements, we have hope this time. The addition of the 4 major armies was simply a piece of inspiring news. It immediately ignited the fighting spirit of countless demon race warriors. Their eyes were filled with madness as they continuously killed the demon beasts in front of them. They directly suppressed the ferocity of the demon beasts on the spot. Many demon kings directly roared and used the divine power of the heavenly law's embodiment technique. Increase the size of his body. They erupted with astonishing battle prowess. However, the demon god clan had a strong foundation. Countless demon beasts continuously emerged from the black hole in the void. There were many different races, and without exception, they all had a bloodthirsty aura. In the blink of an eye, millions of demon beasts emerged. There was also a group of 8-armed demon gods that entered the battlefield. However, there were not many of them. There were only 100 of them. However, among these 8-armed demon gods, even the weakest one had a cultivation base that was comparable to that of a great demon god. The stronger one was comparable to a demon sage. 8 of their arms held ferocious weapons. As they waved them, it was as if they were going to break heaven and earth. These demon gods drove the demon beasts to attack the demon race's front line. They casually created a dignified atmosphere on the battlefield. Seeing this, Di Shitian only felt the blood in his body burning. His eyes were filled with endless battle intent as he watched the 4 divine beasts fight on the battlefield. He could not help but roar to the sky. We demon race fight the heavens and the earth. As long as we die standing, we will not live kneeling. We drink the blood of the demon gods and eat the flesh of the demon beasts. This is the strength of the demon race. Tiger soul, drink the blood of the demon gods with me today. Let's see if it is sweeter. Kill. Di Shitian suddenly stood up from the throne. He stepped on the void. The tiger soul on his back in the scabbard let out a low tiger roar. There was a strong thirst for blood in the tiger's roar. It was thirsting for blood. Clang. His right hand had already landed on the slender hilt of the tiger soul. A murderous aura suddenly sounded from the scabbard. The tiger soul pointed diagonally to the ground. On the blade, the fishbone-like ripples kept fluctuating. Inside his body, in the demon residence, the demon refining cauldron started spinning crazily, emitting an endless devouring power. It continuously devoured the heaven and earth essence chi outside his body. Outside his body, the entire void seemed to be collapsing. His body turned into a terrifying black hole. The 5th-grade Black Lotus was spinning rapidly. It spat out waves of pure royal true force. It surged into the demon veins around his body. In his flesh and blood, countless forces were surging. Bang! He fell directly from the sky. The place where he landed was at the forefront of the millions of demon beasts. When he stepped on the ground, a vast pressure directly set off a wave of air around him. In front of him was a demon mantis that was dozens of meters tall. Its 2 black scythes slashed at him like lightning. With a crack, the space in front of him was split open. The sharp edge instantly enveloped his body. Kill. Di Shitian's mind was incomparably calm. He was so calm that everything around him was completely reflected in his mind. As for the attack that fell on him, he instantly knew. In his consciousness, this kind of attack seemed to have slowed down many times in an instant. A cold expression appeared at the corner of his mouth. His feet slightly stepped to the left. The tiger soul in his hand swung out. It drew a golden arc in front of him. This step was ingenious. It was almost a hair's breadth away from the sharp edge of the scythe. The tiger soul in his hand completely erupted with its endless battle strength. From top to bottom, it slashed diagonally, splitting a demon mantis into 2 on the spot. The moment the demon mantis died, the demon blood in its body was directly devoured by the tiger soul. A trace of blood could be seen on the blade. As for the demon soul, how could it escape the absorption of the heavenly punishment? It was directly swallowed into the heavenly punishment divine eye. Ha ha, kill, kill, kill. Lunatic Di, these demon souls are all good things. Kill as many as you can. Each of them is the best jailer. Nether shouted excitedly in the nether prison. With a claw, it directly shattered the demon mantis demon soul and threw it into the Huang Quan. The power of the demon soul was instantly dissolved on the spot. It was integrated into the nether prison. Only a little soul brand was left. The soul brand was thrown into the purple pool in the 19th layer. Suddenly, the purple pool violently fluctuated. The next moment, a jailer wearing purple armor and holding a soul hook in his hand walked out. The jailer's appearance was that of a human, not much different from the other jailers. As soon as he came out, he immediately entered the nether prison and began to interrogate the divine souls. The purple pool now had a new name. It was called the Heavenly Nether Pool. The pool could nurture jailers. The jailers were able to obtain the power of the heavenly punishment divine eye through a little soul brand. Only then could they regain their bodies in the heavenly nether pool. However, not everyone's divine soul could become a jailer. Only those with a strong soul brand could. The demon god clan's demon soul was innately strong. It was the best target to become a jailer. Good. Heavenly punishment divine eye, open the nether prison. Jailer, come out and detain the demon souls for me. Monthly votes. Today, when I saw that I was overtaken in the monthly votes list, I was so anxious. My heart was cold. I didn't even have the motivation to write. Brothers, let's do it. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please go to www.chidyen.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 572. Whoosh. A beam of purple light shot out from the purple mark between his eyebrows and blasted into the void. Suddenly, a strange scene appeared in the void, showing the scene in the nether prison. In nether prison, the scenes of countless prison guards being tied up and tortured in different levels of purgatory appeared one after another. It was like a mirage. The soul-retrieving chain trembled, making a terrifying sound. Countless jailers rushed out of the nether prison. The chains in their hands were full of layers of strange power, and countless talismans flashed. They emitted a terrifying aura that shook one's soul. There were more than 10,000 jailers in each of the 19 levels of nether prison. Among them, there was no jailer in the 19th level. Even so, there were still more than 190,000 jailers. These jailers absorbed the power of the divine soul. They were almost completely connected to the Eye of Heaven's punishment and the nether prison. As long as the Eye of Heaven's punishment was not destroyed, they could exist forever. The origin was indestructible. Moreover, one's strength was closely related to the Eye of Heaven's punishment. The stronger the Eye of Heaven was, the stronger the nether prison was, and the stronger the jailers in the nether prison were. At this moment, each jailer had the strength of a peak demon king. In particular, their bodies could be illusory and corporeal, which was an unparalleled deterrent to souls. As soon as they appeared, they immediately waved the chains in their hands and tied the dead demonic beasts. They directly pulled the demonic souls from the corpses and sent them into the nether prison, into Huang Quan to be refined into soul imprints, and kept throwing them into the heaven nether pool to create more jailers. The power of the Eye of Heaven's punishment was constantly increasing. Kill. After Di Shitian opened the passage to the nether prison, he ignored them. His fighting spirit soared, and the tiger soul in his hand flashed with a bright divine light. The blood on the ground turned into a few blood ribbons that were directly swallowed by the tiger soul. The power of the green bead in the tiger soul was rapidly increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. His feet moved in a strange way, and his mind was like water in a well. He reflected the surrounding situation in his mind, and could often force the threat away. The tiger soul in his hand was infinitely sharp. Every slash was terrifyingly sharp and simple, with endless killing intent in its beauty. There was no so-called beauty. Every slash had to taste blood. Crack. Taking a step forward and tilting his body, Tiger Soul drew out a cold arc of light and split a demonic wolf in half. After devouring all of its blood, Tiger Soul did not stop. Instead of retreating, it advanced and charged straight into the demonic beast horde. In front of Di Shitian, the demonic beasts, which were comparable to demon kings, were cut down as easily as chopping vegetables. In front of him, demonic beasts of the same level were unable to cause him any harm. He could be said to be invincible among his peers. In his hands, the most ordinary saber technique could erupt with the most terrifying power. The sharpness of Tiger Soul. It was almost unstoppable. Even though he was surrounded by countless demonic beasts, he seemed extremely calm. The feeling of the saber stabbing into his flesh stimulated Di Shitian's body. His blood surged crazily, and his fighting spirit soared into the clouds like smoke. Every strike was as fast as lightning. In the span of a few breaths, hundreds of magical beasts were sliced in half. Intense killing intent pierced through the sun and moon. A vast amount of pressure pressed down on the demonic beasts. Di Yua, come out. Let us fight side by side. Di Shitian released his fighting spirit as he roared. Instantly, the exquisite pagoda appeared above his head, emitting a bright divine light. It trembled violently. Howl! A domineering and excited cry suddenly sounded from the pagoda. A colorful light rushed out of the pagoda and quickly expanded. In the blink of an eye, it became 100 feet tall. It spread its wings like a king descending. 3 long divine lights trailed behind it, suppressing the void. It raised its head proudly. Emperor Phoenix. The Emperor Phoenix in front of them was the one that Di Shitian had wholeheartedly nurtured. In order to nurture her, he did not hesitate to use hundreds of source of life to strengthen her foundation. In the past, she had been in a deep sleep. It was not until recently that she truly woke up. Once she woke up, she immediately bloomed with incomparable elegance. For a moment, divine light flashed like a supreme king. Looking down on the heavens. The power of heaven and earth surged into her body like a tide, as if announcing her existence to the entire world. Daddy. A tender and joyful voice sounded in Di Shitian's mind. The 2 eyes of the Emperor Phoenix were looking at him. Obviously, she was the one who said that. Yua, let us father and daughter fight side by side today. Yua had Di Shitian's blood in her body, so it was not wrong to say that she was his daughter. He could not help but laugh at the sky. Stepping on the air, Qin Wentian stepped onto Yua's back. Roar! The Emperor Phoenix was overjoyed. It looked at the magical beasts below and screeched in disgust. It flapped its wings, and 2 terrifying hurricanes swept toward the magical beasts. On the spot, the magical beasts were shredded into countless pieces. There were also magical beasts in the sky. Facing them was a flock of huge strange birds that looked like winged dragons. Each of them was extremely ferocious. They swooped down and tore many magical beasts into pieces. Kill! Di Shitian shouted coldly and swept out the tiger soul in his hand. The imperial true force in his body was crazily injected into it. The tiger soul burst out with a terrifying saber light that was thousands of feet long. In an instant, countless terrifying afterimages were formed in the void. Blood spurted out. Countless strange birds were cut in half by the saber. The Emperor Phoenix also erupted with astonishing battle strength. 3 divine lights flashed behind him. In the void in front of him, a scene of carnage played out. Countless strange birds were frozen into ice cubes and burned into ashes. Riding on the Emperor Phoenix, Di Shitian was almost invincible among the magical beasts. With a sweep of the tiger soul, he could destroy tens of thousands of magical beasts in an instant. He was almost unstoppable and unique. Is he still a monster king? He's so strong. Oh my god, are the monster kings of the Source Continent really so strong? They are not inferior to the great monsters. With that strange bird, their power is simply unparalleled. With such potential, he has a chance to become a heavenly monster. When the magical beasts saw this, they were all shocked. They were deeply shocked by Di Shitian's battle strength. They were shocked. They couldn't help but wonder if the monster clans in the Source Continent were even more powerful. TSK. Monster King, what a powerful monster king. I haven't enjoyed such high-quality delicacies in a long time. Be obedient and offer all your flesh and blood to this demon god. Boom. 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 Just as Di Shitian was massacring the magical beasts, hundreds of thousands of magical beasts were buried under the tiger soul, and his power was monstrous and unstoppable. A thunderous roar suddenly poured toward him. In that voice, there was a boundless desire, a strong desire, and even an expression of excitement. In the sky, rolling demonic clouds whistled over. A ferocious demon god that was 10,000 feet tall with 8 arms strode toward Di Shitian. Wherever he went, even the magical beasts were trampled into dust. An 8-armed demon god. The aura emitted by the 8-armed demon god was enough to prove that he was a great demon god. He was comparable to a great monster. He held 8 weapons in his hands, a demonic mirror, a demonic spear, a demonic saber, a demonic mountain, and a demonic chain. A demonic sword. Even a battle axe and an ancient seal. Vast demonic aura was constantly emitted and filled the surroundings. The terrifying aura seemed to be able to crush everything in front of him. The demonic aura was so vast that it could almost cover the sky. Obviously, Di Shitian's wanton massacre had truly attracted the attention of the demon god. It should be known that magical beasts were the lowest existences on the demon god continent. They were just slaves enslaved by the demon god clan. However, their reproductive ability was quite amazing. Therefore, the demon god clan had always treated them as the vanguard on the battlefield. They could often explode with shocking effects. Deplete the opponent's strength. The 8-armed demon god was a member of the demon god clan. However, it was also the lowest demon god clan. It was a lower demon god. Even so, the aura emitted by this demon god was still a strong deterrent to Di Shitian. Submit to a demon god? That was just a joke. Standing on the back of the Emperor Phoenix, he coldly looked at the 8-armed demon god. He could feel the oppressive aura from the demon god, but he was not the least bit moved. The Emperor's aura enveloped his entire body. As an emperor, how could he submit to any expert? The Emperor Phoenix was the king of all beasts. How could he be afraid? Instead, he raised his head high. Fight. 8-armed demon god. If you want to eat my flesh, you have to exchange it with your life. Today, Di Shitian coldly looked at the demon god. The tiger soul in his hand was sharp. He pointed it forward and said indifferently, "I will kill you. TSK, you are just an ant in front of this demon god. Die for this demonic god." The great demonic god let out a few angry shouts, and his anger soared to the sky as he rushed in front of Sakura. The 8 arms waved and the demonic arm that held the ancient seal smashed down on him. The ancient seal in his hand was at least a few hundred feet in size. When it smashed down, the void under the seal shook violently. Extreme Emperor Seal, Celestial Demon Seal. Di Shitian coldly snorted. With a thought, a talisman in the black lotus in his body vibrated rapidly. A mysterious force emerged and quickly formed an ancient seal in his hand. Celestial demon inscriptions appeared on the ancient seal. It quickly expanded and exuded a shocking power. It suddenly attacked the ancient seal that the demon god was smashing down on him. Extreme Emperor Dao, Celestial Demon Morning. Di Shitian shouted in a low voice. He did not care if the celestial demon seal could block the great demon god's attack. He stared at the demon god and waved the tiger soul in his hand. In an instant, countless slashes were made. Endless sorrow and death swept out from the saber. The talisman in the black lotus vibrated again. The tiger soul's saber radiance exploded and burst out for thousands of feet. Countless celestial demons flew out from the saber and madly devoured the endless desire and power of the demon god. They waved their sabers and cut through space. It was as if they wanted to cut the space in front of them into countless pieces. These celestial demons slashed at the great demon god. Monthly votes. To be continued. If you want to know what happens next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 573. The gods and devils were incomparably ferocious, and every single one of them had a powerful battle prowess that was comparable to Sakura. Thousands of gods and devils with similar battle prowess appeared and brandished their battle sabers. Following the trajectory of heaven and earth, they slashed out terrifying saber scars that even shattered the void. Di Shitian's cultivation was comparable to a peak demon king. It was equivalent to thousands of peak demon kings attacking the 8-armed demon god at the same time. Bang! The divine demon seal collided with the 8-armed demon god's ancient seal. Amid the loud noise, the void was stirred up, and the terrifying shockwaves caused the surrounding space to be annihilated. One was a demon god's demonic treasure, while the other was a peerless unique skill. When they collided, it was as if neither side was willing to give an inch. The mighty force that erupted blocked the demon god's arrogant aura. They were constantly entangled. At the same time, countless sabers instantly covered the 8-armed demon god in saber radiance. Damn it, do you think these little tricks can hurt this demonic god? I'm going to kill you, little demon. The 8-armed demon god was furious and stamped with rage. Obviously, he did not expect that an ant could block his attack and even counterattack. Shame. Extraordinary shame. The demonic flames in the demon god's eyes burned wildly. When he saw the sharp saber slashing towards him, he roared and waved the 8 arms in his hands. Suddenly, the demon weapons exploded with shocking demonic power. Like the wind and fire wheels, they protected him from top to bottom. Countless saber lights were smashed into pieces. Gaga. Demonic chi gushed out from the 8-armed demon god and condensed into terrifying demons. They surged toward the thousands of divine demons ferociously, trying to tear them into pieces. Powerful, too powerful. The demon god clan was simply born to be warriors. They had an unparalleled talent for battle, and their combat strength was far stronger than those of the same rank. In particular, their battle awareness was extremely strong. After blocking the attack, they did not hesitate to counterattack again. Their strength was comparable to a peak grand demon, and they had an oppressive advantage. Humph. Divine demon unification. Di Shitian's expression was cold. He roared, and the thousands of gods and demons immediately returned to the tiger soul. With every god and demon that entered the tiger soul, the saber's aura became even stronger. A boundless will of death instantly swept through the heaven and earth. It enveloped the Fiend Celestials in an overwhelming manner. The killing intent in the hearts of countless demonic beasts ceased as countless sorrowful scenes appeared in their minds. Magical beasts were still fine. After all, some of them only knew how to kill. His consciousness was affected, but it only caused the beast horde to pause for a moment before they recovered. With this pause, the pressure on the demonic beasts was greatly reduced. They took the opportunity to kill countless demonic beasts on the spot. Roar. Inside the tiger soul saber, a black tiger with wings on its back roared at the sky and burst out with resplendent divine light. The saber light that shot out instantly solidified and turned into an incomparably huge tiger soul. The fierce aura directly suppressed the 8-armed demon god's arrogance on the spot. With the fusion of several thousand godfiends, Tiger Soul's aura immediately rose to that of a greater demon, the peak of greater demon, and a demon saint. The boundless mighty force and the saber light that shot out caused the void to tremble violently as it was continuously sliced apart. Countless terrifying cracks appeared. With the tiger soul in hand, Di Shitian stood on the back of the Emperor Phoenix. The black hair behind his head fluttered wildly without any wind, as though he was an invincible emperor. Suppressing the heavens. Impossible. How can a mere ant have such powerful strength? I am a Fiend Celestial, the greatest Fiend Celestial clan in the chaotic world. Mere demonic beasts are all food in the mouth of us Fiend Celestials. Sky Demon Mirror. The 8-armed demon god saw the terrifying mighty force that instantly erupted from the tiger soul. Although the saber light did not slash down, it had already caused terrifying wounds to appear on his body. Demonic blood splattered everywhere. The demonic beasts that were originally like ants had suddenly become so powerful that they could suppress him. This scene made him furious on the spot. Demonic flames spewed out of his eyes. He held the pitch-black mirror in his hand and shone it at Di Shitian. Sky Demon Mirror. It was the most powerful demonic treasure in this Fiend Celestial's possession. At this moment, he did not hold back and directly activated its power. Under the illumination of the Sky Demon Mirror, Di Shitian only felt the scene in front of him change. Countless Sky Demon women appeared in his mind. They were beautiful, and the beauty of their bodies could be vaguely seen. They danced gracefully and gently swayed their perfect waists. Boundless temptation emerged, and endless desire grew in his mind. There were also countless Sky Demon temptations. Money, wealth, status, power. All kinds of temptations instantly appeared in his mind. As long as his mind wavered, he would immediately be taken advantage of by the Sky Demon. He would be bewitched by the Sky Demon. If he did not indulge in his desires, he would be possessed by the devil. Even if he was slightly distracted, it would be the most fatal thing on the battlefield. Insignificant skill. Using the Sky Demon to arouse the desires in my heart is simply displaying one slight skill in front of an expert. Desire is just a source of nourishment for my cultivation. Chumph, all desires, return to me. Di Shitian sneered as he looked at the demons dancing in front of him. The temptation of the sky demon was simply a joke. He was the emperor of desire. Any fiend celestial who used the sky demon to tempt him was a joke. He cultivated with the power of desire. If he was bewitched by desire, wouldn't that be the funniest joke in the world? With a cold shout in his heart, a battle saber naturally appeared and beheaded the sky demon in an instant, turning it into the purest power of desire. The black lotus in his body spun and devoured it on the spot. It was unable to confuse him in the slightest. I have killed humans and beasts. Today, I will kill a fiend celestial. Kill. Di Shitian's expression was cold. He did not hold back at all. The tiger soul carried the power of thunder and drew a mysterious trajectory. It carried endless heavenly might as it slashed at the 8-armed fiend celestial. This saber contained the peak of power. It was comparable to the full-strength attack of a demon saint. It cut through the void with ease. No. Impossible. How can this fiend celestial die in your hands? This fiend celestial is immortal. Kill. The 8-armed fiend celestial smelled the scent of death in an instant. A crazed look appeared on his face. His 8 arms danced like wind and fire wheels, shattering the void in front of him. Vast demonic power rolled toward Di Shitian like a tidal wave. Endless demonic aura instantly enveloped his body, forming a terrifying demonic armor. Countless demonic runes appeared on the demonic armor. It was unknown how many devils were crazily surging on the magic armor. Crack! The huge tiger soul slashed at the 8-armed fiend celestial. Along the way, the demonic weapons in his hands were all shattered on the spot. 3 of his demonic arms were directly cut off. The sharpness of the tiger soul landed on the fiend celestial unstoppably. Back then, the tiger soul was refined from an indestructible body of the tiger tribe and various precious materials, including a strange spiritual material like the soul-devouring stone. It had the attribute of indestructibility, and its sharpness was unparalleled. In addition to a few consecutive transformations, it had already reached the peak of a profound-grade demon weapon and was only a short distance away from becoming an earth-grade divine weapon. Now, it was even displaying a supreme technique. The sharpness of its sharpness could split the heavens and earth. When it slashed at the 8-armed fiend celestial, the first thing that appeared under the blade was the strange demonic armor. Countless strange demonic runes appeared on the demonic armor, emitting waves of demonic light, trying to block the tiger soul from the demonic armor. In the demonic armor, countless demons pounced out, wanting to destroy the tiger soul. With your demonic blood, I will reach the peak of my path. Break. Di Shitian's eyes were extremely cold as he spat out a sentence. The royal true force in his body surged into the tiger soul like a tidal wave. In the void, the boundless power of desire continued to surge out and reinforce the tiger soul. Roar. A domineering tiger roar came from the tiger soul. The golden blade light was like a small sun, erupting with immeasurable power. Crack. With a forceful press of his hand, the tiger soul spat out countless blade gleams, splitting the demonic armor on the spot. From top to bottom, the sharp blade slashed the gigantic 8-armed fiend celestial into 2 halves. The blade was pulled out and stood in midair. The tiger soul emitted a strong suction force. In the 8-armed fiend celestial's body, streams of black demonic blood were drawn out and fell into the tiger soul. The demonic body that was split into 2 halves fell to the ground in 2 halves. No. How can I be killed by a lowly race like the demon clan? I have the indestructible demon body. You can't kill me. The 8-armed fiend celestial's body revealed a demonic soul that was 10,000 feet long. The demonic soul roared and emitted a frenzied aura. With a loud roar, the demonic body that was split apart began to gather in the middle as if it had a life of its own. It wanted to form a body again. The demonic blood that was drawn out by the tiger soul and surging into the tiger soul stopped and was about to return to the fiend celestial's body. Jailers, capture his demonic soul. Di Shitian frowned slightly. With a wave of his hand, he gave the order to the jailers in the sky. Immediately, The more than 200,000 jailers waved the soul-restraining chains in their hands and descended from the sky. The pitch-black chains shuttled through the void and appeared directly in front of the fiend celestial. The chains reversed and quickly bound him. Whoosh! Hundreds of soul-restraining chains immediately bound the fiend celestial's limbs. They pulled hard. They forcefully pulled the gigantic fiend celestial out of the demonic body that was split into two. Ants! How dare you capture my demonic soul? I'll tear all of you apart. The fury in the fiend celestial's eyes almost burned the entire world. The demonic aura on his body surged as he let out a terrifying roar. He pulled hard and pulled hundreds of jailers to his side. His 8 demonic arms danced sharply and directly tore the jailers apart. He opened his mouth and was about to devour the jailers. However, the moment the jailers were torn apart, they immediately turned into wisps of purple gas and dissipated. As long as the heavenly punishment divine eye was not destroyed, the jailers would not be destroyed. Moreover, in an instant, tens of thousands of soul-restraining chains quickly bound the fiend celestial's body from top to bottom. The soul-restraining chains emitted a strange power and restrained the fiend celestial. TSK, TSK. Quickly capture this fiend celestial into the infernal prison. Watch how I deal with you, Dark shouted as he rubbed his palms together. The tiger soul swallowed the fiend celestial's blood and swept away the fiend celestial's body with a wave of its hand. Standing on the Emperor Phoenix, Di Shitian's power was unparalleled. In the heavens and on the earth, only he reigned supreme. Regarding the matter of chapter 569, it's my fault. At that time, I typed the wrong chapter and directly skipped it. However, it's only a problem with the chapter. Everything else is fine. Brothers, let's do our best. We've fallen to the bottom of the monthly votes list. Let's charge forward. Today, I'll continue with the third update. This is the first update. Everyone, please give me the motivation to fight. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 574. Exposing the demonic soul before Di Shitian was like sending a lamb to the tiger's den. There was no time for him to show his might. The demonic soul was immediately taken into the nether prison, where nether suppressed it. No matter how strong the demonic soul was, it was still firmly suppressed in the nether prison. It was tied to a copper pillar and subjected to all kinds of torture. Nether prison wanted to interrogate it about the demonic god continent and the cultivation techniques and secret techniques of the demonic gods. It wanted to dig out all its secrets. Ever since the underworld book fragment merged with the heavenly punishment, Nether knew that it would never be able to break away from Di Shitian in this life. Thus, it changed its attitude and supported Di Shitian wholeheartedly. This kind of interrogation was Nether prison's forte. Let's see who can keep quiet under torture. After killing the 8-armed demonic god, the battle intent in Sakra's body surged. On the ground, the demonic weapons were shattered one after another. However, the demonic seal and the heavenly demonic mirror were still intact. They were not damaged, and it did not matter if they were intact or broken. With a wave of his hand, he took everything. He did not let go of any benefits. Standing proudly in the sky, I am the only sovereign. A natural aura of an emperor rose from Di Shitian's body. Behind him, there was a vague image of an emperor. The tiger soul devoured the demonic blood. The green pillar on the tiger soul actually had a trace of blood. The tiger soul's strength was increasing. It hummed softly, letting out a sound of desire and excitement. The tiger soul wanted to drink blood. Crack! A terrifying saber mark split open on the pitch-black ground, creating a huge fissure. The loud boom startled the shocked fiends awake. All of them were somewhat dazed as they muttered, so strong. An 8-armed demonic god. That is an 8-armed demonic god. Every 8-armed demonic god that enters the fiendish demon battlefield is a powerful existence comparable to a great fiend. All along, only great fiends have been a match for them. To think that a fiend king killed one. Strong. Too strong. A peak fiend king could actually kill a great fiend. Legend had it that since ancient times, every race would have their own peerless geniuses. Bearing boundless fortune and countless fortuitous encounters, his aptitude could be said to be heaven-defying. He could fight against those stronger than him, challenge those stronger than him, and kill those stronger than him. Every one of them had the potential to become a heavenly fae, a peerless expert. Could he be such a peerless genius? Awesome, that was a good kill. God knows how many good men of our demon race have been slaughtered by the 8-armed demon god every time. Now, our demon race actually has a demon monarch that can directly kill a fiend celestial. Awesome, awesome. It's all worth it. As a demon, this is how it should be. Monarch Chi, he cultivates the Tao of monarchs. Could it be that a great monarch is going to be born in our race? Haha, it doesn't matter whether he is or not. As long as he can kill the demon god, there's nothing wrong with honoring such an expert as a great emperor. Killing a fiend celestial with a fiend celestial as a fiend celestial was a heaven-defying act. It ignited the hot-blooded flames in the hearts of countless fiend celestials. An earth-shattering fighting spirit erupted from his body. Kill. The demon monarchs roared, venting their boundless hot-bloodedness on the demonic beasts. The surging blood in their bodies needed to be cleansed by the smell of fresh blood. Under the might of killing the 8-armed demon god, Sakra's entire body seemed to have become incomparably tall in an instant. A kind of transcendence, an unparalleled loftiness that towered above the world, soared into the sky. Monarch. This is a true monarch. Those who obey me will live, and those who oppose me will die. If I say I will kill you, I will kill you. No matter how strong you are, I will drag you down from your high horse before me. Those who disobey me will be killed without mercy. You are seeking death. In the fiendish demon battlefield, the 8-armed demon god enslaved countless demonic beasts. The demonic beasts were just slaves, cannon fodder. However, the 8-armed demon god was the master, the true strong existence on the battlefield. He was an expert that dominated the battlefield. Less than 100 demon gods dared to start a war here. They relied on their status and strength. No matter how many demonic beasts died, those 8-armed demon gods would not show any pity. They would not feel any heartache. However, the death of a demon god was a shocking matter to the demon god race. Almost at the instant the demon god died, some of the demon gods on the fiendish demon battlefield sensed it. They all looked over and saw the jailers capture the demon god's soul. Even the demon god's body was taken away by Di Shitian. What these demon gods could not accept the most was that the one who killed the demon god was actually an insignificant fiend king. If a great fiend was killed by an evenly matched opponent, they would not feel too angry. However, a fiend king actually killed the demon god. To them, this was simply a great humiliation. The dignity of the demon gods was ruthlessly trampled on. Boom! After a furious roar, a pitch-black demonic light pierced towards Di Shitian. Howl! The Emperor Phoenix saw the demonic light. The demonic light actually shot out from the eyes of an 8-armed demon god. It was extremely strong, even piercing through the void. If it really landed on its body, it would probably blast a huge hole in its fiend body. The might and pressure coming from that demon god was even stronger than the previous one. It was actually not a great demon god but a great demon monarch. That was a strong existence comparable to a fiend sage. This great demon monarch was originally overseeing the rear of the demon god race. He led the entire army. To think that the Emperor Phoenix saw Di Shitian directly kill a demon god on its side. How terrible was that? The demonic fire in its heart was about to burn itself up. A demonic light shot out of its eyes, wanting to blast that loathsome fiend to death. However, how could the Emperor Phoenix tolerate someone provoking it in front of it? It cried out loudly, and the 3 divine lights behind it surged. At this moment, the Emperor Phoenix's combat prowess was not simple. It had digested the 100 source of life it obtained until now. Most of its essence had merged into the 3 divine lights behind it. The might of the divine lights was unparalleled. If it were a fiend king, it would be able to crush him in one move. It was not afraid of great fiends. Even if it could not win, it could run. When it used the 3 divine lights, it was even stronger. With this flash, scarlet, blue, and purple alternated. With a whoosh, countless ripples appeared in the void. It caused the demonic light to slow down. Ice and fire alternated tens of thousands of times in succession, obliterating its ferocious flames. When it arrived in front of Di Shitian, the demonic light had already become extremely weak. Di Shitian flicked his finger at the demonic light. As if he was flicking a small flame, the demonic light completely dissipated on the spot. Provocation. This was a naked provocation. Lowly fiend king, you are provoking this demon monarch. If I, demon monarch Kai Tian, can't kill you today and imprison my fiend soul in the 9 underworlds, I will be that dung beetle. Demon monarch. This was a great demon monarch. In the 8-armed demon god race, he was known as the Emperor Kai Sky Demon. He was a powerful existence comparable to a fiend sage, especially a demon god's demonic body, which was often stronger than the fiend race. Seeing Di Shitian's provocative actions, he immediately flew into a rage. He roared and stood up, a battle spear appearing in his hand. There were countless strange and mysterious demonic patterns on the battle spear, flickering with an ancient aura. A destructive aura flowed out from the battle spear. Destruction. Destruction. This was the will that was condensed in the battle spear. The will to destroy everything. The Emperor Kai Sky Demon's demonic body was huge. Like a terrifying demonic mountain, he strode toward Di Shitian, breaking through the void. The battle spear in his hand was thousands of feet long. He directly stabbed forward. The battle spear was incomparably sharp. A pitch-black spear light directly pierced the void and pierced toward Di Shitian's chest. That kind of destructive and terrifying will shattered the void. Waving the battle spear could shatter the void. Demon monarch. This was the powerful combat strength of a demon monarch. With one spear, the whole world instantly lost its color. It was as if, in an instant, only the battle spear existed in the whole world. Danger. Extreme danger. In an instant, Di Shitian's heart beat wildly. He smelled the scent of death. A demon monarch, a terrifying demon monarch. What a terrifying battle spear. Even in the God's Fall abyss, he didn't have such a terrifying feeling. He felt that if he was really pierced by this battle spear, even he would be instantly turned into dust by the destructive will contained in the battle spear. He would completely die. A demon monarch was scary, but this battle spear was even scarier. You want to take my life? You're not worthy. Di Shitian's eyes shone with madness. With his temperament, he would not submit to any expert. He coldly said, only I can decide my life. A mere demon monarch is not worthy. Boundless arrogance surged, and a domineering aura soared into the sky. Extreme Emperor emblematic seal, celestial demon seal. A celestial demon seal instantly formed. It was abnormally simple, and it suddenly smashed toward the battle spear. Crack. That celestial demon seal, which could almost suppress a great demon, was pierced through by the battle spear and turned into dust. It only made the battle spear pause for a moment. It pierced forward again. Extreme Emperor emblematic seal, Emperor emblematic seal. Extreme Emperor emblematic seal, Doutai seal. Extreme Emperor emblematic seal, extreme happiness seal. Di Shitian went completely crazy. With a thought, the talismans in his body completely exploded. Ancient seals that suppressed the void continuously smashed toward the battle spear. Shatter, shatter, everything that blocks in front of the battle spear will be destroyed. The battle spear contained an indestructible will. This will wasn't strong, and could even be said to be weak. However, within this will, there was an indomitable will, a pure energy that could destroy everything and shatter all living things. In front of this will and power, any other power would be crushed into pieces. 3 ancient seals were crushed by the battle spear one after another. However, the burst of power also caused the battle spear to lose more than half of its sharpness. Extreme Emperor emblematic seal, death of gods and demons. Break for me. Di Shitian roared, and the tiger soul in his hand slashed out like a bolt of lightning. At the moment when the thousands of gods and demons in the saber rushed out, it absorbed a huge amount of power and quickly returned to the saber. The aura in the tiger soul immediately expanded and rushed to the demon saint level. It was like the blade of judgment in the hands of an emperor. It broke through all thorns. Boundless mighty power was brewing in the saber. Clang! The battle spear and the tiger soul collided. In an instant, the destructive will in the battle spear and the supreme dominance in the tiger soul collided and intertwined. Boundless mighty power clashed again and again. The surrounding void was destroyed, healed, destroyed, and healed again and again. It was completely annihilated. Howl! The Emperor Phoenix's body sank as a vast force of demon god bounced back. Unable to withstand it, it was thrown back on the spot. Second update, let's fight together with me. Monthly votes are the driving force. Third watch, there's still a third watch. No matter how late it is, I will complete it. Today, a brother directly gave me 4 monthly votes. Just for this, I have to send it to third watch no matter what. To be continued. If you want to know the rest, please go to www.chidyen.com. I support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 575. Rumble. At the same time, Indra and the Imperial Phoenix under him were blasted back by the terrifying power of destruction that erupted from the battle spear. It was not that they wanted to retreat, but they were directly pushed back by a mighty force. As they retreated, the space behind them collapsed, and countless terrifying earth, fire, water, and wind forces erupted. Behind them was a pitch-black, 10,000-meter-tall mountain. They crashed into it. For that mountain to be in the fiendish demon battlefield, it was clearly not an ordinary mountain. However, they crashed into it. The instant they crashed into it, the fiend refining cauldron in Di Shitian's body spun wildly, transferring that terrifying destructive force from his body to the mountain. Boom! The entire mountain shattered. It shattered inch by inch. That demon monarch was too terrifying. The battle spear was even more terrifying. The destructive power it contained was being worn down by the 4 ancient seals. Even though Tiger Soul had used the demonic god's mourning, it was still unable to completely seal off the spear's edge and was blasted several thousand feet away. The force inside could even shatter the mountain. Terrifying, truly terrifying. That battle spear was born purely for the sake of destruction. Ant, you should be honored to die under the great destruction battle spear. The blazing sky demon monarch's huge demonic body stepped through the air. Every step it took shattered the space under its feet. It carried a supreme demonic might, pressing over with an overwhelming force. The mountain trembled under its demonic might, and the sun and moon dimmed. It was like a giant issuing judgment to heaven and earth. His demonic hair danced crazily in the wind, and countless demons clustered around him. It served as a foil to its supreme demonic might. Every step it took seemed to carry the power of heaven and earth. No one could muster any will to resist. Just its aura alone could crush the physical body of a weak person. If you want to kill me, let's see if you have the ability. Heavenly tribulation, descend. The mountain peak crumbled, and in the blink of an eye, the tricolored divine light danced and rose directly from the mountain peak into the sky. The Emperor Phoenix's expression was still extremely arrogant. Sakra stood on its back, holding the tiger soul in his hand. His face was cold, and his eyes were so cold that it seemed to be able to freeze the entire void in an instant. He spat out these words with a hint of madness. Within the demon residence, the demon refining cauldron began to spin at an unprecedented speed. A terrifying buzzing sound was emitted from the 5th-grade Black Lotus. An earth-shattering demonic aura soared into the sky and pierced through the clouds, shaking the stars. The aura of the peak was released without reservation. Crack! In the void, countless bolts of lightning flashed wildly. Large patches of dark clouds formed out of thin air and quickly gathered together, connecting together and covering the heavens and earth. A vast amount of pressure surged out from it and spread out in all directions. Countless bolts of lightning shuttled back and forth. A terrifying rumble of thunder could be heard faintly. Tribulation clouds. These were tribulation cloud. Di Shitian actually triggered the heavenly tribulation at this moment. At the peak of the fourth transformation realm, he had the ability to trigger the heavenly tribulation at any time. Originally, he had planned to wait until the perfect world seed was nurtured before going through the heavenly tribulation in one go and swallowing the world seed. With the help of the world seed's mighty power, he might be able to directly break through to the sixth transformation realm on the basis of the fifth transformation realm. He might even surpass the limit again and rely on the never-before-seen world seed's power to jump 2 realms in succession and directly charge into the seventh transformation realm. The great ancient demon realm. Every step was carefully planned. Before this, he had already thoroughly planned it out. However, at this moment, he was actually facing a great demon emperor directly. Perhaps if it was just a great demon emperor, he might not be afraid and could rely on various divine abilities and methods to deal with the great demon emperor. However, the one in front of him was not just a great demon emperor. The most terrifying thing was that great destruction spear. It was even more terrifying than a great demon emperor. It was a powerful demon weapon. It was born purely for destruction and destruction. The moment he faced it, the fierce aura that secretly locked onto his divine soul made him clearly understand that this spear was not an ordinary demon weapon. It could even lock onto his divine soul. Even if he had an inner world now, if he hid in it, it would follow him in and kill him on the spot. Running away was not the best solution. I can't beat you with a fourth transformation realm seed. Then I'll break through to the fifth transformation realm seed. Di Shitian's heart surged with a heaven-defying thought, and countless crazy thoughts flashed through his mind. Heavenly tribulation. He wanted to go through the heavenly tribulation at this moment. At the same time, he wanted to borrow the power of the heavenly tribulation to directly kill the sea of demonic beasts around him. The heavenly tribulation clouds were rapidly converging. A 5-colored light appeared. It seemed that the heavenly tribulation clouds were actually the 5 elements heavenly tribulation. Quick! Quick! That blazing sky demon emperor wants to kill the peerless genius of the demon clan. We can't let him succeed. Quickly go and inform the demon saint. No, Lord Sky Demon. He's crazy. What is he trying to do? Why is he going through the heavenly tribulation at this time? Even if he borrowed the power of the heavenly tribulation to prevent the great demon emperor from acting rashly during the heavenly tribulation here would attract the chi. The power of the heavenly tribulation would also increase. At that time, there will definitely be great danger. Is the peerless genius of the demon clan going to be destroyed just like that? Is the heavens going to kill the demon clan? For a moment, the most shocked ones were the demon kings. Their expressions changed drastically. They wanted to go over and help, but they were afraid that if they got close, the power of the heavenly tribulation would increase instantly. That would not be helping, but simply killing. Moreover, once they were targeted by the heavenly tribulation, even they could not escape. The heavenly tribulation could only rely on themselves. No one could help. Brat, you want to transcend the heavenly tribulation in front of me? How despicable. I will definitely kill you. Kai Tian flew into a rage. The fury in his heart was about to ignite his body. Ascending the tribulation directly in front of him? What position did Yi Futian place him in? Yi Futian simply had no demons in his eyes. Yi Futian was too lawless. The demon emperor's dignity was directly provoked. You want to transcend the heavenly tribulation? Today, I will definitely not let you do as you wish. I will break this bullshit heavenly tribulation. In front of the great destruction spear, even the heavenly tribulation will be shattered. Heavenly tribulation, destroy I. Blazing Sky Demon Emperor looked at Di Shitian with a cold smile. Although he had transcended the heavenly tribulation and entered the fifth transformation realm, he was still a demon king. It was impossible for him to cause any damage. However, this sort of contemptuous behavior completely enraged him. He did not want to give him the slightest chance at all. If you want to transcend the heavenly tribulation, do it in your next life. Great Destruction Spear, Sky Splitter. The demon emperor glanced at the heavenly tribulation in the sky coldly. The ancient spear in his hand was raised again. The tip of the spear pointed at the heavenly tribulation. His hand heavily stabbed forward. Boom! The great destruction power in the spear surged and pierced through the heavenly tribulation cloud. In the spear, the destruction power, along with the intent to destroy the sky, completely erupted. The pitch-black divine light blasted into the heavenly tribulation cloud. The heavenly tribulation cloud was formed by the power of heaven and earth. It was not ordinary. When it was attacked, countless lightning bolts erupted on the spot. The lightning bolts intertwined, turning the sky into a terrifying lightning domain. It violently collided with the destruction power. He did not have time to care about Di Shitian. But he did not know that when Di Shitian saw the demon emperor attacking the heavenly tribulation cloud and interrupting his heavenly tribulation cloud, the corner of his mouth pulled into a cold smile. What a joke! How could he not have a complete plan when facing a heavenly tribulation on the battlefield? He had long been prepared for this kind of situation. Humph! I want you to destroy the heavenly tribulation cloud. Others can kill with a borrowed knife, but I can also use the demon god's heavenly tribulation cloud. If you don't attack the heavenly tribulation cloud, I really can't scheme against you. Today, you will die. With strength and wisdom, even the demon emperor will die. Di Shitian sneered in his heart. With his wisdom, how could he not have a perfect plan? He had already planned everything. The demon emperor's attack was the best development. If Blazing Sky did not attack, then what was the point of him facing the heavenly tribulation? With his strength, it was not difficult to face the fourth transformation realm demon tribulation. Once he passed it, he could step into the fifth transformation realm. With the supreme ability of the Imperial World Shocking Book, his strength could instantly increase by 10 times. Just like now, although he was only at the fourth transformation realm, he was comparable to any peak Demon King expert. Once he reached the fifth transformation, his battle strength would directly step into the Great Demon Realm. It was not impossible for him to fight against the Demon Emperor. And the current situation was even more advantageous to him. He had fallen into his own trap. With a cold smile, light flashed in his hand, and the jade-green life altar appeared in front of him. On the altar, a world seed was placed at the center. It shone with sparkling divine light, and even the patterns on its surface became exceptionally clear. There were all kinds of inconceivable charm. He placed the life altar in front of him. Di Shitian's hands moved quickly, and he quickly took out one treasure box after another. A large number of source seeds of life appeared like a tide. In the blink of an eye, 1,080 source seeds of life appeared. When Dark saw this, he could not help but shout in disbelief, "Crazy Di, you took out the life altar. Could it be that you want to upgrade the source seed of life to high grade at this time? Crazy, you are really crazy. Could it be that you want to borrow the power of the Blazing Sky Demon God to survive this great tribulation? Good plan, good calculation. TSK, good calculation." Dark was also an old monster, an old antique. He had seen so much of the world. His rich experience was unimaginable. The moment he took out the life altar, he immediately guessed his overall plan. He could not help but admire him. Di Shitian's triggering of the tribulation was just a pretense. His true goal was to anger Kai Tian and make him attack the tribulation clouds. A fourth transformation realm tribulation cloud would definitely not be able to block the Great Destruction Spear. It would definitely be shattered. However, this did not matter. What he wanted was not to pass the tribulation, but to really drag Kai Tian down. The life altar and upgrading the source seed of life were his true goals. The Blazing Sky Demon God was very strong, especially with that terrifying Great Destruction Spear in his hand. It was enough to directly suppress experts of the same level. Such an attack was not something Di Shitian could block for the time being. And the heaven-defying action of upgrading the source seed of life would attract a terrifying tribulation. It was also not something he could block now. It did not matter if he could not block it. He wanted to directly borrow Kai Tian's power to deal with that terrifying great tribulation. Crazy, This idea was not just ordinary crazy. The third update has been delivered. My promise has been fulfilled. Brothers, where is the support? Where are the monthly votes? To be continued. If you want to know the future, please go to www.chidien.com, support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 576. He was able to analyze the situation in an instant and set up a plan to turn the situation around. He even wanted to borrow the enemy's strength to achieve what he couldn't. His intelligence was simply like that of a ghost fox. Intelligence alone wasn't scary. Strength alone wasn't scary either. The scariest thing was that he had both strength and intelligence. He could set up a terrifying killing trap anytime and anywhere. Take the current situation for example. First, he looked down on and angered the Demon Emperor, causing the Demon Emperor to be entangled with the heavenly tribulation. Then, he took the opportunity to trigger the heavenly tribulation of the source of the world. When the Demon Emperor was caught off guard, the two heavenly tribulations overlapped. The heavenly tribulation would directly attack the Demon Emperor, believing that he was the one who helped the source of the world to pass the heavenly tribulation. The Demon Emperor was directly trapped in the trap. Humph, a small heavenly tribulation is like an ant in front of me. Destroy. Kai Tian had a smug look on his face. It was as if he could already see the despair and unwillingness of the Demon Emperor after he destroyed the heavenly tribulation. There was a fire burning in his heart. It was unusually carefree. The pleasure of stepping on the Demon Emperor under his feet was wonderful. The great destruction spear had already blasted into the heavenly tribulation cloud. The domineering power of destruction continued to shatter the five-colored heavenly tribulation cloud. It was going to be smashed into powder before the heavenly tribulation cloud was completely formed. Humph, you still don't know that you've fallen into my trap. Today, I'll kill you. Di Shitian sneered. He quickly sent the source of life into the life altar. Immediately, the life altar began to flicker with emerald light, enveloping the entire altar in the blink of an eye. Under the power of the altar, it directly reversed the essence of life into the most wondrous power of creation in the world. The power of creation was continuously poured into the source of the world under the power of the life altar. Suddenly, the source of the world emitted a strange divine light. An invisible force spread out. Boom! Kai Sky Demon directly shattered the heavenly tribulation. Just as he was about to retrieve his spear, the heavenly tribulation cloud in the void suddenly began to gather again. It was as if the spear didn't completely shatter it and was about to merge again. Break for this emperor. Kai Tian saw this and his face fell. Without hesitation, the spear in his hand burst with divine light again. It surged and blasted the heavenly tribulation cloud to completely shatter it. Boom, boom, boom. However, the clouds began to gather at an unbelievable speed, condensing in an instant. Bolts of lightning that flickered with golden light fell like raindrops, directly bombarding the great destruction spear. The golden bolts of lightning did not contain the power of gung metal. Instead, they seemed to contain supreme righteousness, holiness, and a vast presence that could kill all evils. It bombarded the great destruction spear. The mighty power contained in the thunder and lightning completely erupted. With a boom, the surrounding void was transformed into a domain of lightning. Every thunderbolt hit the battle spear and collided violently with the destructive power of the battle spear. Immediately, a large area of the void was annihilated. Bang! The power that erupted from the thunderbolt was reflected back onto Kai Tian's body from the battle spear. Kai Tian's terrifying body couldn't help but tremble violently. He took a step back, and this single step caused countless dense and terrifying cracks to appear on the ground. The earth quaked and the mountains shook. It was as if they were about to completely collapse. Even the countless demons howling around him couldn't help but reveal a fearful expression, as if they were abnormally afraid of the thunderbolt. No, this isn't the heavenly tribulation that should appear when a demon king is undergoing a tribulation. It's the demon-slaying divine thunder. Damn it, how can this be the demon-slaying evil-destroying heavenly tribulation? Even great demons can't encounter such a heavenly tribulation. The Kai Sky Demon Emperor's expression became rather ugly on the spot. The anger in his mind slightly subsided. Thinking about it in his mind, his heart thumped. I fell into a trap. Damn it, I fell into that little demon king's trap. He didn't want to undergo a tribulation at all. He wanted to use the heavenly tribulation to kill me. He turned his head and swept his gaze over Di Shitian's location. When he saw it, he was so angry that his nose almost went crooked. A jade-green altar exuded a rich life force. A source seed of the world stood in the middle of the altar, constantly absorbing a large amount of the power of creation. The heavenly tribulation in the sky was vaguely locked onto that life altar. How could he not know that this little ant was playing him like a monkey? Ant, you actually dared to scheme against I. I will definitely grind your bones to dust. I'm furious, eyes furious, eyes furious. A ball of raging fury burned in Kai Tian's heart. 2 pitch-black demonic flames spurted out of his nose, as if they were about to burn the world. His eyes were crimson red, emitting a bloodthirsty glow. He was thoroughly enraged. The Demon King's dignity was being trampled on. He raised his demonic arm, and the battle spear flashed with a dazzling demonic light. He was about to pierce Di Shitian with the spear. However, the battle spear moved, and the tribulation clouds in the void rolled violently. Vast mighty power crazily spread in all directions like a tide. Crack! From the tribulation clouds, a bolt of divine thunder as thick as a bucket turned into an angry dragon, roaring and attacking Kai Tian. The divine thunder contained a terrifying demon-slaying power. Demon-slaying divine thunder. This was the most terrifying type of divine thunder against demonic cultivators in the world. This type of divine thunder was formed by the boundless righteousness of heaven and earth, and even the majesty of heaven and earth. It had an unparalleled terrifying power against demons. It was like a needle against an awl against demonic energy. The divine thunder that erupted could eliminate demonic energy. The heavenly tribulation in the sky was the demon-slaying divine thunder. Its power was enough to make even demon saint-level experts fearful. Its power was extremely terrifying. Originally, this heavenly tribulation was targeted at the life altar and world source seed. However, when the tribulation clouds formed, Kai Tian was attacking the heavenly tribulation. On the spot, the heavenly tribulation turned into the demon-slaying divine thunder tribulation, and instantly treated Kai Tian as the heaven-defying one who protected the life altar. The power of the heavenly tribulation almost instantly pressed down on Kai Tian. It completely locked onto his body. This movement immediately triggered the heavenly tribulation's reaction. The heavenly tribulation suddenly descended and attacked. Damn it! Kai Tian was furious. He raised his head and looked at the vast tribulation clouds above his head. He could clearly feel the vast pressure from the tribulation clouds. The heavenly tribulation had completely locked onto him. At this moment, other than dealing with the heavenly tribulation, he couldn't do anything to Di Shitian. This simply added fuel to the fire that was already burning fiercely in his heart. He was furious. You little brat, wait until I destroy this damned tribulation cloud, then I'll slowly deal with you. Kai Tian roared and slashed with the battle spear in his hand, smashing the divine thunder and dispersing it on the spot. However, his body was also struck by the lightning. In an instant, the demons outside his body were annihilated by countless lightning bolts on the spot like snowflakes in summer. This demon-slaying divine thunder was the nemesis of demons. Compete. Di Shitian sneered at Kai Tian while controlling the life altar to reverse the power of creation and pour it into the world source seed. There were only 108 grooves on the life altar. Therefore, only 108 seeds could be placed in at a time, and they were placed in 10 times. Moreover, it was very important to grasp the connection between them. There couldn't be the slightest bit of carelessness. Good. The crazy emperor is indeed the crazy emperor. As expected, he's still so crazy. Dark clicked his tongue and laughed strangely. This Kai Sky Demon Emperor is unlucky to have met you. He's destined to die. He didn't even have the ability to resist after being schemed against by you. He obediently helped you block the heavenly tribulation. Amazing, truly amazing. Seeing Di Shetian leisurely adding source seeds to the life altar and watching the battle between the demon emperor and the heavenly tribulation, even Dark felt a little sad for Kai Tian. A dignified demon emperor, an expert comparable to a demon saint, and with the great destruction battle spear, he could even hold up against a sky demon. However, he was actually schemed against to help the enemy block the heavenly tribulation. If it was anyone else, they would probably vomit blood on the spot. Bullshit demon punishing divine lightning. Before the great destruction battle spear, all of them will be destroyed by I break. 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 Kai Tian roared furiously. The battle spear in his hand crazily bombarded the demon punishing divine lightning that was coming at him from all directions. The demon god's power in his body continuously poured into the battle spear, activating the great destruction will in the battle spear, crushing the divine lightning. However, this heavenly tribulation was simply targeting the demon god. One after another, they continued to attack. Every single one of them contained a terrifying amount of power. Moreover, each of them was stronger than the last. Crack. The tribulation clouds rolled and divine lightning fell again. However, this time, the divine lightning turned into a 1,000-foot-long battle blade and slashed down. Break for me. Kai Tian's hair was disheveled. All kinds of weapons and demonic treasures appeared on his 8 demonic arms. Demonic flames filled the sky. He roared and swung his battle spear forward, smashing it against the battle blade. Bang! A terrifying power erupted. Countless lightning bolts swept out from the battle blade and extended along the battle spear, bombarding Kai Tian. Ah! Blazing sky demon domain. Kai Tian's body suddenly turned pitch black. He was suddenly shrouded in darkness. A strange world appeared in the darkness. In the world, countless demonic chi rolled, countless demon gods prayed, and thousands of demons danced. At the same time, countless tyrannical demonic chi emerged from their bodies, filling the entire world. When the lightning fell, the blazing sky demon domain blocked the divine lightning. A terrifying roar erupted. Although the demonic area trembled violently, it managed to block the divine lightning outside its body. It seemed that in the demon domain, there was endless demonic power pouring into Kai Tian's body. Damn heavenly tribulation, you have completely angered this demon emperor. Blazing sky demon domain, pour your power into I. Kai Tian was furious and roared. In the blazing sky demon domain outside his body, countless demons were praying. They poured their power out without reservation and poured it into Kai Tian's body. It was continuously applied to the great destruction battle spear. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Under the infusion of the countless demon god's power, the ancient demonic patterns on the surface of the battle spear suddenly began to flow. It was as if they had become alive in an instant. It was like billions of tadpoles swimming. An ancient and vast aura slowly awakened from the battle spear. I don't know why, but I'm weak today. Everyone, give me some motivation. To be continued. If you want to know what happened next, please go to www.chidian.com. I support the author. I support the original reading. Chapter 577. Countless demonic runes gathered together and formed 2 mysterious ancient seals on the battle spear. The ancient seals contained a terrifying power of destruction. The words on the seals were, destruction. Buzz. The battle spear seemed to have awakened from a deep slumber. The strong will of destruction burst out with endless power. The spear shook, and the space around the battle spear was like a crystal mirror. Countless terrifying cracks appeared in the space around the battle spear, and they quickly spread out in all directions. With a cracking sound, the spear shattered into millions of pieces. Destruction. Destruction of everything. A will of destruction and destruction shot out from the battle spear. Dazzling divine light instantly enveloped the spear. It was as if there was a great destruction demon god within the spear. The will of destruction was enough to shatter the entire void. It spread in all directions and instantly enveloped the entire fiendish demon battlefield. In an instant, Countless demonic beasts on the battlefield lay on the ground in fear. Their bodies trembled non-stop. The demon kings on the battlefield felt a terrifying aura of destruction enveloping them. They did not even dare to move. They felt that if they moved, the power of destruction would instantly destroy them. The air on the battlefield was heavy and oppressive. It was as if everything had been imprisoned in an instant. The battlefield, which had been filled with the sounds of killing, became strangely silent. It was as if the body immobilization art had been cast on them. Their hearts pounded wildly as they looked at the ancient spear in shock. They felt that as long as it was casually swung forward, it could shatter the void, destroy everything, and shatter everything. All the light in the world seemed to have gathered on Kai Tian in an instant. The vast tribulation clouds in the sky were also tumbling violently, brewing the most powerful attack. It wanted to kill the demon god below who dared to challenge the heavenly Tao. Crack! The tribulation clouds tumbled violently. Suddenly, they gathered toward the center rapidly. The tribulation clouds in the sky condensed into a cloud that was only 1,000 feet wide. The entire tribulation cloud turned into tribulation lightning. It condensed into a huge golden millstone. Countless lightning bolts intertwined on the millstone, forming the patterns on the millstone. A vast pressure was emitted from the millstone like a tide. It was extremely terrifying. Countless living beings were pressed to the ground. No one could stand in midair. Boom! The golden grindstone started to spin slowly. As it spun, it caused the surrounding space to distort and shatter. Countless bolts of lightning accompanied it, shuttling back and forth. An unparalleled might suppressed the entire area. It spun towards Kai Tian unceremoniously, and with every inch it fell, the vast pressure increased by countless times. This grindstone was meant to crush and obliterate Kai Tian's existence. It contained the supreme power of the heavenly tribulation, and was a tribulation artifact formed by countless demon slayer divine thunders. The great annihilation spear is invincible, and capable of destroying everything. Collapse the heavens. Sky-scorching demon emperor's eyes flashed with madness. He could feel that Zhong Dacheng contained a terrifying power that could completely crush him. The aura of death reverberated in his mind. With his status, how could he resign himself to fate? With a roar, the battle spear in his hand also accumulated boundless energy. The power of great destruction circulated crazily within the battle spear. The will of annihilation could collapse the heavens. It shattered the entire vacuum. Boom! The battle spear pierced towards the golden grindstone that was pressing down from above. The battle spear was thousands of feet long, and it directly slammed into the grindstone. The grindstone trembled violently, and countless golden demon slayer divine thunders erupted. The entire sky was reflected as if the end of the world had arrived. It was abnormally terrifying. It shattered the vacuum. The power of the heavenly tribulation and the power of great destruction violently collided. For a moment, the surrounding space was completely shattered. Emperor Kai Sky Demon's battle spear pointed at the grindstone. His feet stepped on the ground, and supreme demonic power rolled over. It was as if he was indomitable, and he wanted to block and shatter the grindstone. However, although the grindstone was entangled with the power of destruction, it still exploded with astonishing power. It spun in circles, and with every circle, the surrounding space was moved. Endless power of heaven and earth pressed towards Kai Tian. Crack! Countless cracks appeared under Kai Tian's feet, and it began to collapse in an instant. His entire body was pressed into the ground under the pressure of the grindstone. Countless bolts of lightning followed the battle spear and blasted towards the huge demonic body. However, the power of great destruction was also crazily destroying the power of the heavenly tribulation. Bang! The grindstone fiercely crushed the demonic god into the ground. Even the grindstone itself was crushed into the ground. Terrifying rumbles sounded continuously from the ground. Ha ha! The source seed of the world, the upper-grade source seed of the world has indeed appeared. Since it can appear, it can definitely refine a perfect seed. Just at that moment, the radiance on the life altar suddenly dissipated. The sparkling and translucent jade-like seed on the altar was not only incomparably clear, but it also had a mystical spirituality. It was as if it was not a seed at all, but a life of its own. However, lunatic DI, you must not continue. If you increase it again, it will definitely attract the heavenly tribulation. At that time, there will be no demonic emperor for you to scheme against. Even a heavenly demon will be killed. Let's plan for the long term first. TSK, let's see if the demonic emperor has been killed by the heavenly tribulation. Dark shook his head and shouted proudly. He was amazed by Di Shutian's plan. Back in the ancient times, the heavenly tribulation had killed several ancient giants. However, the battle spear in Kai Tian's hand was really strange. It contained the will of great destruction and actually blocked the power of the heavenly tribulation. This battle spear was definitely the most terrifying killing weapon, a supreme treasure. One could feel the aura of desolation from it. Di Shutian waved his hand and put away the life altar. He said, this advancement was originally to scheme against demonic Emperor Kai Tian and borrow his power to block the heavenly tribulation. At the same time, I also want to use the heavenly tribulation to kill him. I want to be the biggest winner. At this moment, he is being bombarded by the heavenly tribulation. Even if he can save his life with the battle spear in his hand, he will definitely be heavily injured. I want to go to the heavenly tribulation. I'm going to transcend my tribulation. This is the best opportunity to slaughter a devil emperor. A bright light flickered continuously in Xiao Chen's eyes. His face was filled with determination as he said softly, don't worry. Tribulation. He wanted to go through the tribulation again. Xiao Chen's fourth revolution fiend core could no longer allow him to deal with consecutive battles. He needed to break through to the fifth revolution fiend core. Di Shutian was very clear that his cultivation was too low in the fiendish demon battlefield. Any random great demonic god could force him to use his full power. Now that a demon monarch was here, he wanted to crush him like an ant. How can this be? Absolutely not. To be an emperor, to rule the world. To stand at the peak of the world. To be an absolute overlord in every aspect. How could he be humiliated so casually? Strength, strong strength. To break through, he had to break through at all costs. Good. Given your current cultivation, comprehending the Tao on the body tree will greatly increase your cultivation. Furthermore, of the 7 emotions and 6 desires, 7 are the scariest. The 6 emotions and 6 desires are the easiest to overcome. With your current mental state, you can clear the test of seeing desires in the shortest time possible. Breaking through the heavenly tribulation will be a piece of cake for you. Nether chimed in agreement. Although Xiao Chen could fight against great fiends with his strength at the 4th refinement realm, he was still too weak. Once he broke through to the 5th refinement realm, his strength would soar again. His combat prowess would increase several-fold. Naturally, this would be for the best. After he consumed the world seed, his strength would soar again. He would directly charge to peak Fiend King. Ha! Di Shutian looked up at the sky and shouted. Then, a strong aura burst out of his body again. Dense fiend chi surged into the sky like smoke signals. He directly released the aura of a peak 4th refinement realm beast core. Xiao Chen triggered the heavenly tribulation. Boom, 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 boom. The previous heavenly tribulation had just dissipated when a large number of tribulation clouds quickly gathered. In the blink of an eye, they gathered above Di Shutian's head. They turned into 5-colored tribulation clouds. Another 5-element lightning tribulation. 4th refinement realm beast core, 5th stage black lotus, rotate for me. Di Shutian shouted. In a flash, he transformed into a black tiger that was thousands of feet tall. His fur shone with divine light and was gently distributed all over his body. A vast kingly aura spread out like a tide. On his forehead, the purple king mark flickered violently with divine light. Waves of majestic aura gushed out from the king mark. It suppressed every inch of space within a radius of thousands of feet. His muscles rippled under his fur like a horned dragon. Waves of tyrannical power flowed through his body. Under the continuous tempering, His demonic body had become so strong that it was shocking to hear. Although he was only a fiend king, it was no exaggeration to say that his fiend body was definitely comparable to that of a great fiend. And at the moment of crossing the tribulation, Sakra transformed into his original body and closed his eyes in an instant. His whole mind instantly appeared in the demon-refining cauldron in the fiend residence. In the cauldron, the fifth stage Black Lotus was rotating at an incredible speed. The fifth stage Black Lotus was emitting a powerful devouring force. It swept towards his mind. The realm of desire. This was the realm of desire in the Black Lotus calling for him to go through the tribulation. Di Shitian did not hesitate and directly threw himself into it. In his mind, the Imperial Tyrant Heart technique was circulating endlessly. He calmed his mind. Crack. Outside, the tribulation clouds in the sky were brewing and rolling. A golden heavenly tribulation blasted down on Di Shitian. The lightning bolt that was as thick as a water bucket directly hit his body. On the spot, countless golden lightning instantly spread out in all directions. With a kind of sharpness, it actually burned a large part of his fur on the spot. Huff. However, Di Shitian's eyes were still closed. Only his nose was breathing in and out in a strange way. The pores all over his body were constantly opening and closing as he breathed. When they opened, the lightning that fell on his body was directly absorbed into his body. Brothers, if you have a monthly ticket, throw it. Give me some stimulation, give me some motivation. Chapter 578. Monthly Votes. The heavenly tribulation was a tribulation, but it was also a creation. If one could not withstand it, it would be a tribulation. The heavenly tribulation would blast one into dust and destroy one's physical body. Even one's divine soul would not be able to escape, and it would be very unlikely for one to be reincarnated. However, if one's physical body was strong enough to withstand the bombardment of the heavenly tribulation, it would not cause too much damage and could not completely destroy one's physical body. That would be creation. The heavenly tribulation contained an extremely mysterious power. Destruction and creation coexisted together. When one's physical body withstood the heavenly tribulation, it would also be cleansed by the heavenly tribulation. The impurities in the physical body would be purified and the physical body would become stronger. It was possible to absorb the power of the heavenly tribulation and integrate it into one's physical body to completely refine one's physical body. In that way, one's physical body would often receive incomparable benefits. It would allow one's physical body to continuously evolve into a treasure body. It would advance toward the goal of an indestructible body. When Di Shitian was undergoing the heavenly tribulation, he actually directly cast his mind into the Black Lotus to undergo the heavenly tribulation of the desire state. He actually only withstood the heavenly tribulation with his demonic body. Lunatic. All the demons who saw this had a look of disbelief in their eyes. Although the benefits of withstanding the heavenly tribulation with one's physical body were unparalleled, once one's physical body was damaged and destroyed, one would be completely destroyed. The benefits were great, but the consequences were equally severe. Crack. Bolts of heavenly lightning fell from the tribulation cloud crazily and bombarded Di Shitian's body. The shiny black hair on his body seemed to be burnt in an instant. The lightning was like knives and swords, blasting countless terrifying cracks all over his body. However, on both sides of the cracks, countless granulation sprouts appeared and wriggled rapidly, healing the wounds. Di Shitian had consumed the source of life before. Although most of it was consumed, there was still a small portion that had completely integrated into his body. At this moment, when he was being bombarded by the heavenly tribulation, the huge amount of life essence contained in his body was stimulated. It gave his demonic body unparalleled recovery ability. While the heavenly tribulation was wantonly destroying his body, his demonic body was rapidly healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. His wounds healed, and he was as good as new. Similarly, when the heavenly tribulation descended, his healed body was blasted into a bloody mess again, his skin and flesh lacerated. Again and again, the cycle of destruction and healing was endless. At the same time, His body continuously absorbed the power of the heavenly tribulation. Every inch of his flesh and blood was like a hungry tiger that had been starving for countless years, devouring the heavenly tribulation's power ferociously. Vaguely, the flesh and blood in his body were becoming stronger. Under the tempering of the heavenly tribulation, the demonic vein had become even more resilient. Unknowingly, the surface of the demonic body had actually emitted a faint black glow. His demonic body was transforming into a treasure body. His demonic body continued to grow stronger. Boom, boom, boom. At the same time, while absorbing the power of the heavenly tribulation, Indra's tiger body, which was standing on the ground, was rapidly expanding. Around him, a huge amount of heaven and earth yuan qi, the essence of the sun and moon, the power of the stars, the qi of demons, and the power of desire were crazily pouring into his body like a tide. His entire body was growing rapidly with a whoosh sound. Every time it rose by 10 feet, it would cause the surrounding space to produce a thunderous sound. The air in the surroundings seemed to be boiling as if it was being boiled. Di Shitian was really resisting the heavenly tribulation with his physical body. TSK, the crazy emperor has finished transcending the heavenly tribulation this time. His demonic body will become stronger again. I'm afraid it will be comparable to a peak great demon. It will begin to transform into a treasure body. The imperial book of shocking the world is indeed miraculous. The method of nourishing the demonic vein, opening acupoints, and dispersing the branch meridians is much more advanced than other techniques. Moreover, with the strength of his body, he may already be able to condense a Dharma power. Dark silently observed Di Shitian's actions and could not help but nod. His dragon claws stroked his dragon whiskers as he praised, "A Dharma power is the most fundamental difference between the strong and the weak. I wonder what kind of Dharma power he can condense." However, ordinary cultivators have to at least become great demons to start condensing a Dharma power. They have the ability to suppress the will that erupts when the Dharma power is condensed. With the crazy emperor's ability, it is enough. There seemed to be an inexplicable expectation in his words. Only when one reached the great demon level could one be considered to have truly stepped onto the stage of heaven and earth. And when one reached the great demon level, one's strength was mostly measured by the Dharma power. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, in the demon refining cauldron, the grade 5 black lotus suddenly began to tremble violently, emitting a rich black light. The curse seals formed by the incantation technique flew out of the black lotus and revolved around the black lotus. Outside, in the air above his head, a huge amount of desire power gathered, forming a funnel. The desire power surged wildly into his body. It directly poured into the grade 5 black lotus. This ocean-like power of desire was actually the power of desire. Crack. In the black lotus, there seemed to be a crisp sound like glass breaking, and a vast power of desire immediately spread throughout the black lotus. At the same time, every inch of space in the grade 5 black lotus instantly merged together. The barrier between the grade 5 black lotus and the black lotus was broken on the spot. The power of desire contained within was also quickly fusing with the royal true power within the black lotus. At the same time, the Huangji true power also merged with a new desire power. Unknowingly, the true power magically became purer. Every time it merged with a desire power, it would cause the Huangji true power to undergo a metamorphosis. Naturally, the more it merged, the stronger its power. At this moment, it was already the 5th type. In the instant that the black lotus completely merged, Di Shitian's mind and spirit came out of the black lotus. His entire mind and spirit seemed to have undergone some kind of sublimation in an instant, obtaining an inestimable understanding. His own level rose again. Desire fusion, grade 5 complete, grade 6 derivation. Grade 6 black lotus, open. Di Shitian shouted in his mind. Immediately, he saw that on the grade 5 black lotus, there were bursts of black light surrounding it. The curse seals circled, and the Abhina talisman inside emitted an immeasurable amount of light. The black lotus spun violently, and almost instantly, it completely swallowed the full amount of true origin that was refined in the cauldron. At the same time, on the black lotus, it was as if a lotus flower had bloomed. Countless patterns flickered, and silently, another Grade 6 Black Lotus was born. Grade 6 Black Lotus. Grade 6 Black Lotus. However, this newly born Grade 6 Black Lotus seemed incomparably illusory, as if it would dissipate at any time, flickering indeterminately. Derivation of Grade 6 Black Lotus still lacks the power of creation. Watch me break through the heavenly tribulation, accept the baptism of the heavenly tribulation, and use the power of creation to completely stabilize this Grade 6 Black Lotus. I've truly stepped into the Grade 6 Black Lotus, Monster Core 5th Transformation. Di Shitian looked at the flickering Grade 6 Black Lotus, and a thought quickly flashed through his mind. In the blink of an eye, he understood. Feeling the changes in his body, he couldn't help but be secretly delighted. At this moment, his monster body had broken through to 15,000 feet in one go. Moreover, every inch of his flesh and blood was abnormally condensed and full of power, without the slightest sense of weakness. Even the surface of his body was flickering with traces of mystical light. Raw. His eyes, which were originally closed, suddenly opened. There was a profound aura in those eyes. He raised his head and let out a domineering tiger roar. The tiger roar spread out in all directions, causing countless cracks to appear on the ground. 15,000 feet, such a body was too powerful, even taller than a mountain. When he opened his mouth, it was like a terrifying black hole. It was frightening. Di Shitian looked up at the tribulation clouds that constantly bombarded his head. He shouted in his heart, "Heavenly tribulation, if you can't destroy me, then turn all of it into my strength. Merge with me. My stomach can merge. All rivers flow into the sea." With a roar, he opened his bloody mouth and stood up abruptly. He fiercely swallowed at the tribulation clouds above his head, and a terrifying swallowing force was produced between heaven and earth. Boom! Di Shitian's mouth fell, as if he had bitten off a large piece of the sky in an instant. The tribulation clouds that had gathered in the sky were swallowed in one gulp. The entire battlefield was in an uproar. Oh my God, the tribulation clouds, that's the tribulation clouds. My ancestor, he dares to swallow such a thing. He really doesn't want to live anymore. Is he crazy? Crazy, he's really crazy. Heavenly tribulation, that's the most domineering force in the world. If it erupts, its power is unimaginable. He even swallowed it into his stomach. Is he not afraid that his whole body will explode? They were shocked. No one expected Di Shitian to swallow the tribulation clouds in such an unbelievable way. No matter who it was, the internal organs were always relatively fragile. Once they were damaged, it was not a small joke. It would really cost him his life. As long as he wasn't crazy, no one would do such a thing. However, was he really crazy? My stomach can hold, refine the heavenly tribulation for me. Di Shitian coldly shouted in his heart. His mind was incomparably clear. With his wisdom, how could he do something that he wasn't confident in? If he dared to do it, he naturally had something to rely on. Every time the Imperial Book of Shocking the World was upgraded, it was possible to derive all kinds of magical powers. For example, when he had completely integrated the desire of taste, his body had also undergone changes, and he had obtained the stomach can hold magical power. When it was used, the stomach could be as boundless as a bottomless pit, and it also had an unparalleled digestive ability. It could quickly refine things that were swallowed into the stomach. It was not impossible to swallow 100,000 celestial soldiers and celestial generals in one mouthful. With a thought, the unusual stomach immediately operated at full power. The violent tribulation was quickly broken down and refined. He couldn't help but split a part of the Imperial True Force to suppress it. Waves of tribulation were refined and quickly poured into the Black Lotus. Suddenly, after the 6th grade Black Lotus absorbed the power of tribulation, the flickering 6th grade gradually stabilized and condensed into a shape. Although it was dim, it was completely stable. Whoosh! In the sky, a crack opened. Countless fairies flew, sprinkling heavenly flowers, and the sound of nature was endless. A 5-colored light beam enveloped Di Shitian. Under the cover of this light beam, the fatigue of the body was swept away. "Ant, I'm going to kill you." A terrible vibration came from the earth. Monthly votes. If you want to know what will happen next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 579. Rumble. Wave after wave of tremors came from the ground. In an instant, the solid ground seemed to have turned into the surface of the sea. Terrifying ripples appeared. Moreover, these ripples became more and more rapid, bigger, and the sound became more and more terrifying. It was as if the entire ground was about to be completely flipped over. An exasperated and incomparably irritable roar came from underground. Demonic chi surged into the sky. It directly blasted a terrifying hole in the ground. The hole was pitch black, like a bottomless abyss. The roar came from this terrifying devil cave. That destructive aura shook the desolate era. Break through the 9 prefectures. The Devil Emperor. This was the roar of the blazing sky demon emperor. From his voice, one could see the fury in his heart. It was likely that he could no longer suppress it, and was about to erupt and burn the entire world. That boundless killing intent swept out in all directions, and everything before him would likely be slaughtered into nothingness. Fire, fury. This terrible rage. It enveloped the entire fiendish demon battlefield. Even a 3-year-old child could feel it. You are the first little demon king to dare scheme against this demon emperor. With a boom, the ground cracked open. The blazing sky demon god shot up from the ground and landed on the ground again. There was not the slightest trace of anger on his face. Even the words he spoke with were very calm and steady, as if nothing had happened. However, even so, it showed that the anger in his heart had reached a point where it was difficult to vent. His cold gaze swept across the battlefield and landed on Di Shitian. It was so cold that even the battlefield was filled with a terrifying chill. It wasn't a cold aura, but a murderous aura. Bathed in the divine light, Di Shitian could only feel that the true power in his body was recovering at an unimaginable speed. His mental state instantly reached its peak, and he felt unprecedentedly carefree. The royal realm true power in his body surged, and instantly rushed into the 5th demonic vein, and quickly collided with the divine light that was blocking the demonic vein. This time, it was like a hot knife cutting through butter, constantly refining the divine essence and sending it into the heavenly punishment divine eye. In the blink of an eye. Thus, 2/3 of the 5th demonic vein had been opened. Even the 6 imperial true apertures were formed in an instant. Only 3 were left. The speed at which he absorbed the power of desire instantly increased by countless times. You were tricked by me because you were stupid. Di Shitian sneered as he looked at Kai Tian. With a sway of his body, he transformed into his human form. At the same time, he revealed his 1,500-foot-tall demonic body. He held the tiger soul in his hand and dragged the blade on the ground. Looking at Kai Tian, his black demonic emperor robe had already become tattered. 6 of his 8 demonic arms had been broken. Demonic blood continued to drip from all over his body, making him appear exceptionally miserable. Clearly, although he had survived the demon slayer heavenly tribulation, he had also suffered unimaginable injuries. Compared to before, his strength had most likely been reduced by more than half. A sharp light flashed in his eyes as he said mockingly, "You want to kill me. This king also wants to kill you. Furthermore, the one standing in the end will definitely be me." As soon as he finished speaking, boundless confidence rose from his body. With the 5th revolution of the Yarrow Dan, the boundless true power of the Emperor surged through the Yarrow vein in a powerful manner. Every inch of his flesh and blood was filled with boundless power. Along with this power came a strong sense of confidence. At the same time, a purple-gold light flashed on his face, and the ultimate Emperor mask quietly appeared. The ancient patterns on the mask were constantly flowing, emitting a vast and mysterious aura. It was as if the mask contained endless mysteries. Di Shitian, who was wearing the mask, became even more mysterious in an instant. No matter how one used their eyes, there was no way to truly see his face clearly. Although the mask could only cover half of his face, it had the same mysterious power. The cultivation in his body instantly increased by a realm, directly reaching the 6th revolution of the Yarodan. Peak Demon King. Boundless demonic aura surged into the clouds. What? The return to Void Mask. Why do you have the returning Void Emperor's returning Void Mask? When Kai Tian saw the mask on Di Shitian's face, his eyes suddenly widened. He could not help but exclaim, as if he had seen something inconceivable. A look of wild joy immediately appeared on his face. He laughed wildly and said, "Haha, I indeed have boundless luck. Even though I was pushed to this damned fiendish demon battlefield, I still managed to encounter a supreme treasure like the returning Void Mask. Go to hell." Kai Tian seemed to recognize that mask and even called Di Shitian's ultimate emperor mask the returning Void Mask. It vaguely revealed that it was a supreme treasure. Furthermore, without hesitation, he waved the great destruction spear in his hand and thrust it at Di Shitian. A sharp killing intent instantly locked onto Xiao Chen. A resplendent divine light burst forth from the battle spear, piercing through the void in front of Xiao Chen. Returning Void Mask. A trace of doubt flashed through Di Shitian's mind. The ultimate emperor mask was snatched from the divine clone of venerable God Seal. After refining it, he discovered that there seemed to be a mysterious seal in the mask that sealed most of the mask's power. Even he did not have the ability to break it. Could this be the original name of the mask? This question only flashed through his mind for a moment before it was immediately thrown aside. He looked at the divine light that was piercing towards him. The divine light in his eyes froze. Instead of retreating, he advanced. Bang! 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 He directly took 3 steps forward. 8 desolation step. With each step, his cultivation would instantly increase by 10 times. After 3 consecutive steps, the ultimate emperor true force in his body became completely berserk. It crazily circulated in his demon veins, colliding everywhere, erupting with tyrannical power that poured into his flesh and blood. His cultivation broke through the Demon King realm on the spot, directly entering the Great Demon Realm, and rapidly approaching the peak of the Great Demon Realm. The tiger soul blade in his hand dragged on the ground. As he stepped forward, a resplendent light burst forth, directly drawing a huge blade mark on the ground. The ground cracked. The golden blade light wrapped around the blade, revealing a fishbone-like blade pattern. The vast ultimate emperor true force poured into the tiger soul, causing its sharpness to increase greatly. Whoosh! The blade was lifted up, and from bottom to top, it directly slashed towards the divine light. On the tiger soul, the sharpness was fluctuating, and the power of the peak of the great demon realm was completely revealed in an instant. An unparalleled tyrannical intent suddenly rose from the blade. It collided with the great destruction divine light, and on the spot, there was a terrifying sound. The divine light was shattered on the spot, but the blade momentum of the tiger soul also stopped in an instant. "Kid, I will destroy you today. Your little life and the returning void mask will all belong to I." However, behind the divine light, the great destruction spear followed, and the spear pierced towards Di Shitian's heart. His feet instantly moved to the side, and he took a step forward, sidestepping the spear. The tiger soul in his hand took the opportunity to slash out horizontally, and the blade light was as fast as lightning. It directly slashed towards Kai Tian's neck. This blade was about to hit, and without a doubt, with its sharpness, it could cut off his head on the spot. However, Kai Tian was truly worthy of being from the demon god clan that was born in slaughter. He was born to grow in battle, and his experience and combat skills had long become a kind of instinct. Just as the tiger soul blade was about to land on his neck, the battle spear rose from bottom to top, blocking the blade. At the same time, a demon hand turned into a sharp claw, and clawed towards the head. Looking at the sharp claw marks, it was clear that the head was crushed like a watermelon. Clang! Di Shitian's reaction was astonishing. In an instant, he raised the blade in his hand. The moment the slender blade in his hand was raised, it drew a strange trajectory, blocking in front of the demon claw. It caused the demon claw to return without any success. The vast power of a peak great demon allowed him to tangle with Kai Tian without falling into a disadvantageous position. Kai Tian, You've been bombarded by the heavenly tribulation and only have half of your life left, yet you still want to scheme for this king's treasure. Indeed, if the heavens want you to die, they'll make you go crazy first. Di Shitian sneered sarcastically. With a twist of his wrist, the tiger soul blade rotated, and he slashed out horizontally. His footwork was even more miraculous. However, Kai Tian's combat strength was also unparalleled. He waved the battle spear in his hand again and again, and the terrifying power of great destruction each time forced Di Shitian to use various methods to block. The blazing sky demon's body was 2,000 zhong tall while the Indra's body was 1,500 zhong tall. They were like two terrifying giants. The huge battle spear collided with the tiger soul. Although both of them looked huge, when they were operating their own bodies, their agility was simply unimaginable. All kinds of exquisite battle techniques were executed consecutively. The blade light and spear shadows collided, creating countless loud sounds. Every attack had a supreme power that could shatter the heavens and split the earth. The spectators were all dumbfounded and overwhelmed. They couldn't even bear to blink their eyes, afraid that they would miss any exciting moment. Bang! With a loud bang, Di Shitian and Kai Tian retreated several thousand feet at the same time. Countless crisscrossing cracks appeared on the ground, and the earth collapsed. "I want you to die." Kai Tian's face revealed a ferocious expression, and the battle spear in his hand suddenly drew a mysterious trajectory. Great Destruction Battle Spear, God-Slaying. In the battle spear, there was an incomparably terrifying power of great destruction, and it instantly locked onto Di Shitian. The battle spear contained a terrifying intent realm that wanted to pierce through a deity and completely destroy him. The void in front of the battle spear was constantly collapsing. Extreme Monarch Emperor Dao, Devourer of the Dao Tai. Di Shitian's gaze became deep. He waved the tiger soul in his hand and shook the divine ability talisman in the Black Lotus. Suddenly, he saw an incredible devouring power coming from the tiger soul. With a slash of the battle saber, a terrifying crack appeared in the void. Endless devouring power appeared from the crack, and a terrifying figure of a Dao Tai condensed and formed. The Dao Tai was several thousand feet long, and it opened its terrifying mouth that was countless times larger than its body. It turned into a black hole and swallowed the Great Destruction Battle Spear and Kai Tian. It actually wanted to swallow Kai Tian into its stomach. For a moment, a terrifying black hole seemed to have appeared in front of the Great Destruction Battle Spear, and a strong devouring power swept over. The Great Destruction Battle Spear could destroy a deity, and it was unknown if it could destroy this Dao Tai with endless devouring power. Bang! At the same time, Di Shitian resolutely took the fourth step of 8 Desolation Stomp. Those who have a monthly ticket, please support me. If you want to know what will happen next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 580. He took the fourth step. The power in his body boiled again. A huge demonic aura rushed into the sky, and his cultivation instantly entered the peak of the great demon. His aura was vast and boundless, like a great emperor sitting in the dragon court. As he took a step, it was like a dragon soaring and a tiger leaping. He was even more fearless of Emperor Kai Sky Demon, and the Dao Tai in front of him became even more terrifying in an instant. The devouring power shrouded the Great Destruction Spear and Kai Tian. The sky darkened, and it was simply terrifying, as if the end of the world had come. Kai Tian's terrifying devil body was being pulled forward by the Dao Tai and was about to fall into the Taotia's mouth. To him, this was simply a kind of humiliation. His fury surged even higher, and his liver and guts were about to burst. He roared, "Great Destruction Devil God, use the Devil God's power on this emperor. Let I destroy everything." Kai Tian Demon's body shook and a strange demonic qi gushed out from his body. This demonic qi quickly gathered together, and in the blink of an eye, 81 terrifying celestial Dharma images appeared behind him. Those celestial Dharma images all looked the same. They had 1,000 demonic hands and their chests were bare. In front of their chests, there were pitch-black demonic eyes. There were a total of 100 demonic eyes, and each demonic eye contained a brutal and destructive strength. It was as if they were the great destruction demon gods that destroyed everything in the world. As soon as these demon god celestial Laksana appeared, the power in Kai Tian's body was rising at an incredible speed. The boundless power of Great Annihilation instantly condensed on the Great Annihilation Spear. Buzz! As the pure power of destruction poured into the battle spear of destruction, countless mysterious demonic runes appeared on the spear, and a demonic shadow of a great destruction demon god condensed within it. It roared crazily in the Great Destruction Spear. The space around the Great Destruction Spear was annihilated at a speed visible to the naked eye. Destruction. The aura of destruction swept through the world. It filled every inch of space, and even the Daotai was a little shocked on the spot. The devouring power it released seemed to be isolated in an instant. Celestial Laksana, not good. This Kai Tian condensed so many demon god Celestial Laksana, and it's a great destruction demon god Celestial Laksana. This demon god Celestial Laksana has reached the profound level. Combined with the Great Destruction Battle Spear, the Great Destruction Battle Spear would be able to unleash the true power of destruction. 81 Shen level Dharma Laksana. Even if the 10,000 Blades Mountain blocked its path, it would be blasted into smithereens. Terrifying, too terrifying. The 8-armed demon god clan had always been a lesser clan among the demon gods. How could there be such a powerful demonic art? Lunatic DI, you have to be careful. Although the Dharma power could only be used once, its power was the most terrifying. He could kill experts of a higher realm. Reverse immortal slaying. Dark was so shocked that even his dragon scales were about to explode. He roared madly in his mind. Dharma idol was the symbol of an expert. It was also a guarantee of strength, possessing a powerful deterrent force. Although the Dharma power had a flaw, it could only be used once in a fight. After that, it could no longer explode with such terrifying power. That was because that one time was equivalent to completely condensing the power in the Dharma power and exploding with the strongest attack. Such an attack was usually something that even an opponent stronger than him would have to temporarily dodge to avoid being destroyed. Kai Tian had actually used his final trump card, the Dharma power. It was obvious that he was staking everything on this one throw, wanting to completely kill Di Shitian in one fell swoop. He was furious. Kai Tian was completely enraged. The power of the Dharma power was completely poured into the Great Destruction Battle Spear, pushing the spear's power to an unbelievable level as it pierced towards the Daotai. Bang bang bang! The spear blasted into the Daotai's terrifying mouth. The Great Destruction Battle Spear collided with the Daotai's endless devouring power. The Daotai, who had always been unafraid of great magical powers and various magic treasures, was unable to devour the Great Destruction Battle Spear's power at this moment. They were in a deadlock. However, in the blink of an eye, the Daotai's huge mouth let out a terrifying roar. The originally pitch-black mouth that was like a black hole began to mysteriously distort. In the distortion, the black hole was collapsing inch by inch. Boom boom boom. After a few breaths of time, the Daotai's huge body was blasted into pieces by the Great Destruction Battle Spear. It burst out in all directions. The destructive power instantly locked onto Di Shitian. His anger towards Di Shitian had already reached its peak. Dharma power. So this is the power of the Dharma power. Di Shitian's eyes flashed wildly. His face was calm as he coldly shouted, although I have not condensed the Dharma power, it is not difficult to obtain the power of the Dharma power. If you want to kill me, I'm afraid you won't be able to do so. His mind was not at all frightened by the destructive power of the Great Destruction Battle Spear. Extreme Emperor Wei, Death of the Gods and Demons. Di Shitian took a step forward against the battle spear. He took advantage of the opportunity to strike the tiger soul in his hand. A surge of magical power rushed from the Black Lotus into the saber. Suddenly, 3,000 gods and demons rushed out of the saber. These 3,000 gods and demons held the battle saber in their hands. Their bodies were like bottomless pits, swallowing the power of desire and the power of heaven and earth in the void. Their hands swung in mysterious patterns. Countless saber marks were scattered in the void. In an instant, the power of the 3,000 gods and demons reached the same level as Dai Shutien's peak great demon. At the same time, they quickly merged into the tiger soul. Every time one of them merged, the power of the saber would continuously increase. All the power of the 3,000 gods and demons with the power of a great demon was gathered in the tiger soul. The power of the saber instantly rose to a level that could not be increased any further. It was destructive enough to split the sky and earth apart. This had the same effect as the Dharma power. Roar. In the tiger soul, a black tiger with a pair of wings let out a tiger roar that was filled with the aura of an emperor. Gradually, its illusory figure began to condense. Kill. The muscles on its arms undulated continuously like dragons. Its entire body was filled with explosive power. With a twist of its wrist, the tiger soul slashed down at the battle spear. Bang! The collision between the Great Destruction battle spear and the tiger soul was like thousands of tons of explosives exploding at the same time. The vitality of the entire world collapsed on the spot, along with the destruction of the void. The ground under their feet cracked, and countless terrifying spiderweb-like cracks appeared. They cracked inch by inch. Because of the domineering and terrifying power of the two, they were filled with destructive power. The ground continued to collapse. The sky fell and the earth cracked. It was as if heaven and earth were shaking violently. A great destruction demon god rushed out from the great destruction battle spear, and a huge black divine tiger rushed out from the tiger soul. The two fiercely entangled and tore at each other. Dai Shutien's black hair danced wildly behind his head. His entire aura was incomparably arrogant and domineering. He was like an ancient demon god, and the ultimate emperor mask on his face was suffused with mysterious colors. Today, I will slay the demon emperor. Bang! Dai Shutien brazenly took a step forward. The fifth step of the 8 desolates. The flesh and blood in his body shook violently. Waves of majestic power rose from his body, and the oppressive aura directly collided with the blazing sky. Ferocious. At this moment, Dai Shutien was truly ferocious. His demonic hair danced wildly, and the light around his body flashed. Between his eyebrows, where the divine eye was, streaks of purple light flowed. Vast divine power swept across the 8 desolates. Bang! When Dai Shutien took a step forward, the blazing sky demon's body trembled violently. Drops of sweat, or rather, blood flowed from his pores on his forehead. The veins on his body bulged, and even his face became abnormally ferocious. It was as if he wanted to eat someone, but he was still forced to take a step back. Impossible. My Earth-level Dharma power, the power of the Great Destruction Demon God, is condensed in the battle spear. One spear can pierce through heaven and earth. Why can't I kill you? You don't have a Dharma power, so how can you block it? No, I can't accept this. I don't believe it. Great Destruction battle spear, sky-shattering. The blazing sky had fallen into a kind of hysterical madness. There was no longer a trace of rationality in his eyes, only madness. He seemed to have cultivated the Great Destruction Tao, which advocated destruction and invincibility. Now, even when he displayed his Dharma idol and risked everything to unleash his strongest attack, he still couldn't kill Dai Shutien. This was simply the peak of his imagination. A demon king actually had so many incredible tricks up his sleeves. He had schemed against him to this point. Unwilling. Intensely unwilling. No matter what, he couldn't accept defeat. The demonic power in his body poured into the battle spear almost without reservation. On the spot, Dai Shutien felt that the power from the battle spear was like a tidal wave. Wave after wave, each wave stacked together to create an unparalleled destructive power. Boom. Boom. When it reached Dai Shutien's body, his 5 viscera and 6 bowels shook violently. The terrible destructive power swept through his body, destroying a lot of things. It actually wanted to destroy every inch of his flesh and blood. If it wasn't for the wonderful power of the life essence in his body, he was afraid that he would have suffered terrible injuries under the power of the sky-shattering. Puff. A mouthful of pale golden blood spurted out from his mouth. There were also bits of flesh and blood in the blood. Die for me. Dai Shitian's mouth showed a trace of coldness. His left hand quickly drew a strange rune mark in the void. Faintly, there was an unimaginable mysterious aura in the mark. Spell, Withering Glory. The rune mark directly imprinted on Kai Tian's chest. As soon as it touched his skin, it entered his body unstoppably. In an instant, a huge amount of life essence was transmitted from the underworld into Dai Shitian's body. This essence quickly spread to the flesh and blood of his body. In the blink of an eye, the injuries on his body were greatly improved. Spell? Damn it, how can you know the spell? Kai Tian gritted his teeth and shouted. There was a look of disbelief on his face. The vast life essence in his body was quickly dissipating and being sucked away. He could feel that his strength was fading. Spell, Soul Devouring. Dai Shitian coldly condensed another rune mark. Taking advantage of the fact that Kai Tian couldn't free his hands, he struck it into his body once again. Ah! Boundless pain spread from Kai Tian's demonic soul, causing him to let out an earth-shaking roar on the spot. His mind was distracted. The battle spear in his hand slowed down. An opening. Dai Shitian's eyes flashed. Without hesitation, the tiger soul burst out with a bright divine light. It swept away the battle spear and slashed at Kai Tian's body. Brothers, who still has monthly votes? Help me. It's been stolen. I'm brewing. It's almost the middle of the month. Erupt again in the middle of the month. Give me passion, everyone. Give me motivation. To be continued. If you want to know the future, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 581. Kai Tian was originally attacked by the heavenly tribulation and was blasted into the ground. Although he didn't know how he escaped in the end, he must have paid a huge price. His body was weak, and he was already half dead. However, after being angered by Dai Shitian, he was already burning with anger. When it entered his brain, his rationality was replaced by anger. In addition, he was confident in his own strength. The trust of the Great Destruction Spear. Even his own Dharma power. He didn't think that he would lose. However, Dai Shitian had been accumulating power for a long time. He passed the heavenly tribulation and successfully advanced to the 5th transformation realm. He wore the ultimate emperor mask and increased his realm. In addition, he used the 8 desolation steps, the ultimate emperor way, the tiger soul's edge, and even that strange curse technique. He fought with his full strength and almost had the advantage of time and place. Even if he was seriously injured, he still wanted to kill Kai Tian. In heaven and earth, only I am supreme. Today, I'm going to use your blood to pave the way for me to reach the top of the heavenly ladder. Kill. Dai Shitian kept vomiting blood at the corner of his mouth, but his eyes were extremely sharp and fierce. The moment he swung away the spear, the tiger soul had already appeared above Kai Tian's head. Clang! The tiger soul slashed on Kai Tian's head, and it actually made a sound like metal colliding. The demon emperor's demonic body was extremely hard. It actually had the characteristics of an indestructible body. It could block the edge of a divine weapon. Even the tiger soul couldn't break his demonic body. It was simply terrifying. His body was gradually transforming into an indestructible body. Once he became a shifter emperor, this demonic body would be a true indestructible body. Even divine weapons couldn't hurt him, unless it was an earth-rank divine weapon. Indestructible body? No, it's not an indestructible body. No matter how hard the body is, it will be broken by the tiger soul. Dai Shitian looked crazy as he roared. Reverse the ultimate emperor shocking the world. The 6th tier black lotus in his body, which was originally rotating clockwise, suddenly began to rotate counterclockwise without any warning. Immediately, an incomparably violent emperor's true power filled every inch of his flesh and blood, and the tiger soul's sharpness suddenly doubled. The blade chi could cut through space. Ah! The tiger soul forcefully broke through the demonic body and slashed down crazily from top to bottom. On the spot, it split Kai Tian's head open and continued to slash downwards, wanting to split him into two halves. However, Kai Tian was still incomparably ferocious. With a twist of the battle spear in his hand, he instantly pierced Di Shitian's abdomen. The sharp spear pierced through his body from the front, and the tip of the spear came out from his back. Blood flowed wildly. Kill. Di Shitian's heart thumped wildly, but his gaze didn't change at all. The tiger soul in his hand became even sharper as he slashed Kai Tian into two. The devil blood in Kai Tian's body was swallowed by tiger soul like a tide. "I'll take you down with me," Kai Tian sneered. Tiger's soul devours soul, swallow this king's devil soul and advance to earth rank. Di Shitian activated tiger soul. Not only did he want to devour the devil blood in Kai Tian's body, he also wanted to devour his devil soul. This was because when he split open his demonic body, he discovered that Kai Tian was going to self-destruct his devil soul. If this were to happen, there wouldn't be many who could survive on the entire battlefield. He would be the first to bear the brunt. Even if he didn't die, he would suffer unimaginable injuries. He originally wanted to suppress him in the nether prison, but it was already too late. Only Tiger Soul could suppress him. The green pearl on the Tiger Soul could not only devour blood essence, but also souls. However, it had always sent souls into the nether prison, so it rarely had the chance to devour them. As soon as it was used, countless rays of green light shot out from the green pearl, transforming into countless threads that tied up Kai Tian's demonic soul and frantically pulled it into the green pearl. "Father, avenge me," Kai Tian roared. That roar seemed to be able to travel through countless worlds. Sixth Prince. On the fiendish demon battlefield, all the demon gods' expressions changed at the same time. They shouted wildly and rushed toward Di Shitian crazily. They looked like they were about to be torn apart. However, Tiger Soul's soul-devouring ability was almost unparalleled. It swallowed Kai Tian whole. As expected of the demon pearl condensed from the most bizarre soul-devouring stone. Boom! Boom! All of a sudden, a mighty demonic aura came from the void, pressing down on everyone on the battlefield. Be it demonic beasts or demons, they felt as if a terrifying mountain was pressing down on their heads, pressing down on their bodies. Their bodies felt as if they were struck by lightning, and blood spurted out from their mouths. Even the divine beasts of the four great armies were pressed to the ground. In the void, there was a terrifying pitch-black tunnel. That tunnel was the tunnel from the demon god continent to the fiendish demon battlefield. The demon gods and demon beasts just now had continuously surged out from it. It connected the two worlds. However, at that moment, the tunnel began to emit rumbling sounds. The entrance of the tunnel began to violently tremble. The boundless aura was emitted from the tunnel. It was as if some terrifying ferocious beast was about to rush out from the tunnel. Boundless demonic aura surged over. Rumble. The tunnel was forcefully pushed open and became incomparably huge. At the same time, a huge demonic hand suddenly stretched out from the tunnel. The demonic hand could almost cover the world. In an instant, the sky darkened. "You killed my son. You deserve death." In the tunnel, accompanying the demonic hand was a cold snort that sounded like thunder. It covered all the sounds in the world. It was as if his words were the most sacred existence in the world. The most supreme existence. The entire demonic hand became 10,000 feet large. It covered the sky and instantly slapped down on Di Shitian. "Crazy Di, we're in big trouble. Damn it, that Emperor Kai Sky Demon is really not simple. He actually has such a terrifying father. At the very least, he is an unparalleled expert. The unparalleled great emperor of the demon god clan. Quick, think of a way. Once such an existence attacks you, given your current situation, I'm afraid you'll be killed with one slap. You must block it." Ming's expression changed drastically, and he shouted crazily. This was the great emperor of the demon god clan. Although only one hand appeared, the vast demonic aura was enough to destroy any existence. There was almost no one on the battlefield who could block it. Di Shitian had even killed his son and swallowed his demonic soul. This blood feud was enough to make him grind his bones and scatter his ashes. Di Shitian's heart also beat wildly. He could smell the scent of death. Extreme Emperor, Emperor Seal, Emperor Seal. Di Shitian roared, and his hands quickly blasted out seals. Emperor Seal, Celestial Demon Seal, Doutai Seal, and Nirvana Seal. 4 ancient seals condensed and appeared at the 4 poles. They directly flipped over and bombarded the Sky Demon's hand. Want to kill me? It's not that easy. Di Shitian's expression was cold. He turned his left hand and pulled out the battle spear on the spot. The spear turned and directly pierced through the demonic hand. The tiger soul in his hand reappeared, and he used the celestial demon morning. In between his brows, the heavenly punishment divine eye opened instantly. A ray of annihilation divine light blasted toward the demonic hand. In an instant, Di Shitian had almost completely unleashed his life's best skills and unparalleled divine powers without holding back. Immediately, 4 ancient seals that were thousands of feet long charged toward the demonic hand, trying to stop it. The battle spear directly guarded the center and pierced toward the demonic hand's center. Then, the tiger soul split the sky and earth. All kinds of divine powers shook the entire sky violently, as if a huge hole was about to be torn open. Divine light flashed. It erupted with endless power. Kill. The demonic hand directly pressed down. The vast aura made countless living beings under the demonic hand vomit blood. When it collided with the 4 ancient seals, the ancient seals each burst out with endless power, shaking the void and shaking the stars. Even mountains could be crushed into powder, but it only made the demonic hand pause for a moment before it immediately collapsed inch by inch. The terrifying hand was smashed into powder. It was unstoppable. The battle spear was even more strange. It directly pierced through the demonic hand, but there was not a single drop of demonic blood. It did not cause any damage to the demonic hand either. Any attack would be destroyed on the spot in front of the demonic hand. Clang. The tiger soul slashed the demonic hand. The demonic hand was harder than steel, and sparks burst out. The demonic hand pressed down, completely suppressing the saber light on the tiger soul and crushing it in an instant. The tiger soul's sharpness dissipated on the spot. Rumble. The demonic hand pressed down unstoppably, as if it contained the universe. It possessed the universe. It was incomparably magical, and one couldn't even dodge it. Di Shitian was the first to bear the brunt of the attack and was hit on the spot. In an instant, he felt that all the bones in his body were crushed into powder inch by inch. His flesh and blood were instantly scattered. He was slapped into the ground. The earth shook and the mountains shook, and countless bloodlights flashed. When this palm fell, countless lives were annihilated on the spot. When the demonic hand fell, it was like a demonic mountain, directly suppressing the battlefield. Boundless demonic chi gathered and condensed into a huge 5-fingered mountain on the battlefield. It was thousands of feet tall. At the same time, the Great Destruction Spear flew into the air, sweeping up Kai Tian's demonic body and charging into the tunnel. It vanished in the blink of an eye. However, a sentence lingered in the air. Today, you destroyed my son's demonic body. In the future, he will personally come to take your life. However, how can my son be humiliated so easily? Today, I will suppress you for 500 years. After 500 years, you will fight with my son again. A sentence without any emotion lingered in the air. What's going on? Wasn't Kai Tian already dead? He fell to the tiger soul, and even his demonic soul was swallowed up. Could it be that he had an undying body and could be reborn? Whoosh! A boundless suction suddenly appeared in the tunnel, sweeping through the entire fiendish demon battlefield and swallowing up all the demonic beasts and demonic gods. In just an instant, the fiendish demon battlefield was empty. Even the tunnel was vanishing at a visible rate. Great Emperor shrouding heaven? He actually forced his way into the fiendish demon battlefield. Is he not afraid of the world's backlash? A golden rainbow streaked across the horizon, drawing a rainbow bridge in the air. It instantly crossed space and arrived above the battlefield. The golden rainbow scattered. A middle-aged man in golden robes appeared in the air. The moment this man appeared, he naturally exuded an iron-blooded, imposing aura. He even exuded a terrifying baleful aura. Monthly votes, monthly votes. To be continued. If you want to know what happened next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 582. Standing in the void, he naturally exuded a majestic aura that could suppress all directions. There was a thick and sharp charm to it. Around him, there were traces of daoist rhymes circling around him. On his golden robe, there was a picture of a gourd vine. On the vine, there was a golden gourd hanging. There were natural patterns on the gourd that contained endless mysteries. The strangest thing was that this middle-aged man had a baby face. He looked very young, but even so, the natural aura he exuded still caused the entire battlefield to become solemn. None of the demon race dared to breathe loudly. It was as if the person standing in the void was a god of death. Shitian. A delicate voice rang out. Chen. She was dressed in palace attire. Her peerless face was already faintly showing an anxious expression. She, who had always had an outstanding mental state, had long been replaced by worry in her heart. Her figure passed through the void, creating countless ripples in the void. It was as if time and space were retreating under her feet. In less than a blink of an eye, she had already appeared in front of the 5 Fingers demonic mountain. 100 flowers wither. Open. The mystical flower basket in his hand was already filled to the brim with wondrous flowers that contained boundless power. Every single one of them was condensed from the power of the world. Although they were beautiful, they were also the most deadly roses. When each flower exploded, it could destroy most of the things within a radius of 1,000 feet on the spot. These flowers required a lot of energy to condense. In Chen Shi's hands, they could explode with astonishing power. At this moment, Chen Shi was not stingy at all. With a wave of her hand, all the flowers in the basket flew out in an instant. In the blink of an eye, they flew with the wind and covered the sky and earth. In an instant, they were distributed to every corner of the 5 Fingers demonic mountain. Boom, boom, boom. Countless strange flowers exploded in an instant. The power of lightning, the power of the 5 elements, the power of the earth demon, the power of the heavenly wind, the power of the earth fire, the boundless poison. In an instant, the strange flowers that Chen Shi had condensed from various powers exploded. Suddenly, all kinds of terrifying powers intertwined, turning the entire demonic mountain into a land of disaster. The terrifying power turned into a terrifying big net. It bombarded the demonic mountain. The might unleashed by the 100 flowers withering technique was actually enough to threaten a great demon. Unbeknownst to them, Chen Shi's cultivation had already stepped into the 7th revolution of the Yarodan, the great demon realm. In the Linglong treasure pagoda, in addition to the tens of thousands of years of accumulation of pure divine energy in her body, when refining the divine energy, her cultivation base rose at a speed visible to the naked eye. In a short period of time, he broke through all the bottlenecks and silently advanced to the 7th revolution Yarodan. Great demon realm. Only Di Shitian knew about this. No one else knew about it. However, the divine splendor in Chen Shi's body could only support her cultivation until she reached the peak of the great demon realm. After that, her cultivation speed would decrease. As for the rest, he would need to comprehend and accumulate strength on his own to break through. If not for the fact that half of the divine essence in her body had been sucked away by Di Shitian, even if she was a heavenly demon, she would have been able to reach the heavenly demon realm within 1,000 years. Therefore, no one knew that Chen Shi, who had been overseeing the demon city, had actually advanced to the great demon realm. This time, countless violent forces turned into the most terrifying destructive force, bombarding the demon mountain, wanting to shatter the 1,000-foot demon mountain on the spot. With this attack, even the 1,000 blades giant mountain would be shattered. Rumble. However, the pitch-black 5-fingered demon mountain was so hard that it made one's hair stand on end. Countless chaotic forces bombarded the demon mountain, and a wave of pitch-black demon chi billowed, instantly covering the entire mountain. In the mountain, countless demon runes appeared continuously, and in the blink of an eye, they turned into a terrifying demon god. The demon god held an illusory battle spear in his hand. Guarding the demon mountain. He opened his bloody mouth and sucked hard. He swallowed the attacks that filled the sky. Then, with a roar, silence disappeared. The attack that could shake the peak of the great demon realm did not cause any damage to the demon mountain. It was as if the demon mountain had been directly connected with this world in an instant. Shaking the demon mountain was akin to shaking the entire world. "Shitian, where are you?" Chen Shi shouted anxiously. His eyes quickly scanned the surroundings of the demon mountain, trying to find Di Shitian's figure. After failing to find him, he gritted his teeth and shouted softly, "Instant of youth, collapse for me." Without any hesitation, Chen Shi used his innate ability on the spot instant of youth. In an instant, eternal light bloomed, causing life to be glorious in an instant and fade away in an instant. She wanted to make the five-fingered demon mountain release all its power in an instant, draw out its power, and cause it to collapse in an instant. Complete destruction. She wanted to make it experience hundreds of millions of years in an instant and use the power of time to destroy this demon mountain. Boom. However, as soon as the seven-colored divine light approached the demon mountain, the demon god of great destruction appeared again from the demon mountain. The illusory battle spear in his hand was waved at Chen Shi. Suddenly, a terrifying power of destruction blasted over and blocked the instant of youth's innate ability. It collapsed and bombarded her body in an instant. When the power of the great annihilation hit Chen Shi, the numinous sky throne that Sakra Tianfa spent a lot of effort to refine suddenly appeared outside of his body. It burst out with dazzling divine radiance and blocked in front of the great annihilation spear. Bang! However, the demon god was too terrifying. The spear blasted Chen Shi's body and the throne away for thousands of feet. Her body seemed to have been struck by lightning and she spat out a mouthful of blood. She fell in mid-air like specks of bloody plum blossoms. With a touch of poignant beauty. Demon Empress. The four armies broke away from the battle formation one after another. The four divine beasts quickly disintegrated. On their bodies, they looked a little pale. In the previous battle, they had consumed too much energy. However, at this moment, they exclaimed in unison. They quickly rushed to the place where Chen Shi fell. "Uncle, quickly save Shi-Er's husband. Quickly open the demon mountain. Shitian won't be able to hold on for long." Chen Shi's hair was messy, but she shouted at the strange golden-robed man standing in mid-air. "Uncle." Chen Shi's shout made the iron-blooded, cold, and murderous man standing in mid-air slightly stunned. He carefully looked at Chen Shi, and his body suddenly shook. His figure shook, and he instantly landed in front of Chen Shi. His face was full of surprise, and he said, "Shi-Er, you are Shi-Er?" There was a boundless joy in his words. He quickly caught Chen Shi and the numinous sky throne together. He paused in midair, and his eyes landed on Chen Shi's beautiful face. He did not try to hide the surprise in his eyes. It came from the bottom of his heart. "Ha ha." The golden-robed man laughed wildly. Good. 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 Third sister really didn't miscalculate. Sending you out of the demon realm really allowed you to reincarnate. Today, we can finally meet again. Uncle, let's not talk about this for now. Quickly save my husband. He is trapped under the Five Fingers Demon Mountain. Although Chensi was very happy to be able to see her family, she was more anxious and impatient to plead with her husband. Hearing this, the god frowned slightly. He glanced at Chen Shi, then at the Five Fingers Demon Mountain. Shaking his head, he said, "Shi-Er, it's not that uncle doesn't want to help you, but the Five Fingers Demon Mountain was created by Great Emperor shrouding heaven. He branded it with a demon seal, and even placed a demon god of great destruction to protect it. Even her uncle might not be able to defeat that fiend celestial. What's more, once the demon mountain falls, it will be connected to heaven and earth. In less than an hour, it will be connected to the entire demon realm. If you want to destroy the demon mountain, you will have to fight against heaven and earth." He frowned as he looked at the thousand-banner demon mountain. When the great emperor of the demon god clan made a move, His demonic might was truly vast. It was unparalleled. If not for the fact that the purple gold continent and the demon god continent were mutually exclusive and unable to truly descend, the demon realm would have been completely destroyed long ago. The demon battlefield in front of them was merely a training ground for the demon god continent. Rumble. Suddenly, just as Chen Shi's heart sank, the Five Fingers Demon Mountain, which had merged with heaven and earth, trembled violently. The earth shook violently. It was as if some powerful existence was about to charge out from underground. It's Shitian. Chen Shi's dim eyes suddenly lit up. He hurriedly stared at the Five-Finger Demonic Mountain without blinking. At the very bottom of the Five Fingers Demon Mountain was a human-shaped lump of flesh. It was only the shape of a human, but its entire body was soft. There was not a single bone in its body, and it could not support its skeleton at all. How ruthless and terrifying. It actually crushed all my bones in an instant. Great Emperor shrouding heaven wants me to spend the next 500 years recuperating from my injuries. When his son comes in the future, he will directly kill me. Indeed sinister. Sakura was pressed under the Five Fingers Devil Mountain and he kept vomiting out mouthful after mouthful of demon blood. In the blink of an eye, Yang Qi realized what Grand Emperor Shroud Heaven was trying to do. Back in the Devil Mountain, when he had been about to be crushed to death, a strange power had appeared to protect him. Obviously, Grand Emperor Shroud Heaven didn't want him to die so easily. Great Emperor Shrouding Heaven wanted to torture him to his heart's content and repent in endless pain. Until the end of the 500 years. However, I, Di Shitian, am not a weakling who will sit and wait for death. No matter how strong you are, you will not know that I have accumulated a large amount of life essence in my body that has not been absorbed. It has been stored in my body all this time. This time, you crushed all my bones and stimulated my huge amount of life essence. Watch as I reconstruct my bones and flip over your bullshit demon mountain. Di Shitian screamed madly in his heart, and one thought after another flashed through his mind. The anger in his heart burned uncontrollably. He was slapped into the ground by a demon hand and turned into a demon mountain to suppress him for 500 years. Did he really think that he was Tathagata? Then I am Monkey Son? Shame. Di Shitian was so angry that he almost burned his blood. His situation reminded him of Monkey Son, who was suppressed under the Five Fingers Mountain. Since Monkey Son could not lift it, then let me lift it. Brothers, now on the monthly votes list, the demons are suppressed under the Five Fingers Mountain. Everyone, let's do our best and lift the mountain together. To be continued. If you want to know what happened next, please go to www.chidian.com, support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 583. Brothers with monthly votes, please help me. I'm running out of monthly votes. Life essence, reconstruct my bones. Reconstruct my body. Source of life, merge with my body. Protect my body. Di Shitian screamed madly in his heart. Source of life flew out one after another. He did not even need to swallow them. They just rushed into his body. 100 of them in a row. All of them rushed into his body. Source of life. Every single one of them was an unparalleled treasure formed by the condensation of countless life energy. Usually, a single one of them would cause countless experts to fight over it. But now, these incomparably precious source of life had appeared one after another. And they were all being sent into his body without hesitation. If anyone else were to see this, they would probably be heartbroken. But Di Shitian did not waver in the slightest. Source of life may be precious, but compared to his own body and his own life, they were the most insignificant of existences. No matter how precious an external object was, if he lost his life, then what was the use of it? In the mortal world, emperors had 3 palaces and 6 courtyards, 72 concubines, and endless wealth and power. But after 100 years, they would just turn into a pile of dirt. They could only occupy a space of a few feet. No matter how precious an external object was, it could not be taken away. Only eternal life, only eternal immortality. That was the most important goal in the world. As long as he could stay alive, source of life was nothing. But Di Shitian had other ideas. Grand Emperor Heaven Shrouding, Yang Qi said, "You crushed my bones, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you can force my quintessence energy out of me, then I can use my life force essence seed to strengthen my bones. Who knows, I might be able to refine an indestructible skeleton this time." An indestructible skeleton. Di Shitian's mind flashed with crazy ideas. Unknowingly, he thought back to the indestructible skeleton of the tiger ancestor he had found years ago. Even after tens of thousands of years, it was still indestructible. It had created a peerless demon blade, the tiger soul. Its sharpness was so strong that even precious treasures could not break it. If he had an indestructible skeleton, how could Great Emperor Shrouding Heaven have so easily crushed his bones? He made up his mind. In his body, as soon as the 100 source seeds of life appeared, they immediately began to melt, and quickly released pure and rich life essence. Haha, lunatic Di, you're right. This might really be a good opportunity for you to create an indestructible body skeleton. When the bones are broken, it gives you a chance to reconstruct it. Grand Emperor Shroud Heaven would never have guessed that you would have so many life force seed. Underworld shouted excitedly. Fortune and misfortune came hand in hand. When one's bones were shattered, it was also accompanied by a rare opportunity. It all depended on whether one could grasp it. Sculpt my bones. Di Shitian focused all of his attention on his body. He could see that there was a mass of green essence qi flowing out from his body, spreading to every corner of his body. All of them contained the purest life energy. However, essence qi was still essence qi. Di Shitian focused his mind. He quickly circulated his essence qi and sent it to his left leg. He saw that there was bone marrow powder everywhere in his leg that had been crushed into powder. It was as small as a speck of dust. As soon as the essence qi entered his leg, the powder began to glow with rich life force again, and slowly began to fuse together. During this process, the essence qi continued to cleanse and refine the bone. With the support of the essence qi, the bone began to form inch by inch. First was the toe. The powder quickly solidified, and the bone began to glow with a jade-like light. Vaguely, the bones that were being molded were actually jade bones. Moreover, as soon as the bones were molded, a huge amount of life essence immediately rushed into them. The molded bones were like bottomless pits, crazily devouring life essence. With every bit that was devoured, one could clearly feel that the bones were constantly growing stronger at a speed visible to the naked eye. The jade-like light on its surface began to grow stronger. Good, good, good. Golden flesh jade bones. This is the manifestation of the indestructible body. Once the bone is formed, with the power of your 100 source seeds of life, you'll be able to create an indestructible bone. Ming shouted encouragingly from the side. As long as the bone was not destroyed, the bone marrow could be created, and the bone marrow could be used to replace the demon blood in the body. Then, the flesh and blood could be refined, and the demon veins could be refined. At that time, the speed of advancing the demon body to the indestructible body would be 10 times or even 100 times faster. The benefits were immeasurable. Di Shitian did not get distracted. He focused all his attention on the bone formation. Bones were being formed inch by inch in his body. At the same time, the originally soft body began to recover its strength with the support of the bones. The blood was flowing, and the power contained in the flesh and blood was accumulating. The huge amount of essence qi burst out with a vast power. It rushed to the demon mountain. Immediately, the entire demon mountain let out a violent roar. The earth was shaking outside. Shitian, is that you? How are you now? Chen Shi rushed to the front of the demon mountain and looked at it, trying to find a crack. However, after the tremor, as the bones were being formed, the potential burst out and surged on the demon mountain, causing it to shake continuously. However, it could not lift the demon mountain. Hey! Huluzi looked at the 5-finger demon mountain, and a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. He said in surprise, he can still burst out with such power under the suppression of the 5-finger demon mountain. Looks like this brat called Di Shitian, his cultivation was indeed not simple. If I didn't see wrongly, that slap had already smashed all the bones in his body into powder. He can't use all his strength. And now, could it be that he's rebuilding his bones? Looking at the waves of terrifying power that burst out from the ground, other than this, they could not think of any other possibility. Looks like Xie's husband is really a genius. A thought flashed through Hu Lu's mind. However, when he looked at Chen Shi, his expression dimmed slightly. Xie, this five-finger demonic mountain contains boundless power. Even if you shout outside, you won't be able to hear your voice since you're suppressed below. Moreover, looking at the situation, your husband won't be in any danger for the time being. Even if there is danger, we can only plan for the long term. Moreover, you should see your mother. There was a hint of melancholy in his voice. Mother? What happened to my mother? Chen Shi was smart and immediately caught the hint of melancholy. A bad feeling appeared in his heart, and he quickly asked, "Come with me and you will know." Hu Lu did not seem to want to say it clearly on the spot, and only said in a low voice, "This." Chen Shi looked at the five-finger demon mountain hesitantly. The five-finger demon mountain was still shaking. It seemed that although it was suppressed, there was no danger to his life. Moreover, he could not lift the demon mountain now. It was useless to stay here. After thinking for a while, he gritted his teeth and nodded. "Okay, uncle, I will go with you to see my mother." After saying that, he turned to Kai Hua and the others. "You guys guard the five-finger demon mountain. If there are any changes, inform me immediately. Obey the demon empress orders." The four armies agreed and divided into four groups to guard the four directions of the five-finger demon mountain. They also paid close attention to the demon mountain's movements. Immediately, Chen Shi reluctantly left for the time being. The rumbling sounds from the devil mountain continued unceasingly. Faintly, there was a terrifying sound of thunder ringing out. 1 day, 2 days, in the blink of an eye, a month had passed. The shaking of the five-finger demon mountain did not stop for a moment, and it was still shaking continuously. It was as if it had become a habit. Kai Hua looked at the demon mountain, and his gaze was unusually firm. He muttered to himself, "His Majesty must be thinking of a way to leave the demon mountain now." That's right. With His Majesty's great talent and great vision, there is absolutely no place in the world that can trap His Majesty. He wants to suppress a mere demon mountain for 500 years. His Majesty will lift it up sooner or later. Ying Kong's eyes were unusually sharp, but his confidence in Di Shitian did not weaken at all. He did not panic because the demon mountain was suppressing Di Shitian. He had incomparable confidence in him. In their eyes, as long as His Majesty wanted to do something, there was nothing he could not do. He could even plunder the myriad treasure Crimson Tide. How could he be defeated by a mere demon mountain? Rumble. Suddenly, the demon mountain that had been shaking for a month suddenly stopped, and it became strangely calm. For a moment, the hearts of the four legions guarding the surroundings tightened. They had a feeling that something inconceivable was about to happen. "All armies, listen to my order. Retreat immediately." All of a sudden, the four legions retreated and left the Devil Mountain. Because that sentence was uttered by Di Shitian. "Reconstruct the jade bones, the bones are indestructible. My demonic body has become more than 10 times stronger. Watch me lift this demon mountain." Suppressed under the mountain, Di Shitian's eyes shone with divine light. His entire body was suffused with a kind of treasure light. In his body, the bones had been completely condensed. If one could see them, they would realize that the bones were crystal clear, emitting a jade light, and contained an endless amount of vitality. It was like the most magical art in the world. It was perfect. Indestructible body. This was the indestructible body, a part of the immortal body. The bones were exactly the same as the bones of the experts who had cultivated the indestructible body. They also had the powerful ability of indestructible. It was so hard that even a divine weapon could not cut it. Even if it was crushed, it could be recovered instantly. It was unusually strong. After the bones were reconstructed, The injuries in his body also recovered instantly. His internal organs became incomparably strong. The blood in his body was transforming bit by bit. The blood contained a huge amount of power. Rise. Di Shitian's eyes shone with divine light, emitting a terrifying light. He suddenly burst out, and his hands supported the demon mountain above his head. The muscles all over his body were surging crazily like a dragon. It was full of explosive power. To be continued. If you want to know what will happen next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 584. Bang! Stepping on the ground, he raised his hands above his head to support the Devil Mountain. The muscles all over his body moved continuously like dragons. Waves of power kept surging out from his flesh. A vast amount of power burst out. Once again, his skeleton was formed. Moreover, it was the indestructible skeleton that only indestructible bodies had. The aura emitted from the source of life was condensed in his flesh, causing the strength of his entire body to be close to that of a great demon. Every inch of his skin glowed faintly. The blood in his body had started to transform into a light gold color. Once the blood transformation was completed, he would be closer to the indestructible body. Rise. Sakura took a deep breath and roared. He stomped on the ground and pushed Devil Mountain up. He stood up and straightened his back. The black hair behind his head danced crazily. His entire body emitted a fierce and domineering aura. He was like a terrifying demon god. He wanted to push the entire 5-finger Devil Mountain up. Boom boom boom. Di Shitian's eruption of power was more than 10,000 katis. It was like a volcanic eruption. Even the blue veins on his arms could be seen clearly. The demon body pushed the Devil Mountain up and started to grow rapidly. Bigger, bigger, bigger. The demon body was expanding at a speed visible to the naked eye. 1,000 feet, 5,000 feet, 10,000 feet, the entire demon body was growing rapidly. In the blink of an eye, it had grown to 15,000 feet. Stepping on the ground and holding the Devil Mountain up, it was like a demon god was supporting the entire world. A light puff of air could turn into a terrifying hurricane, and a single step could cause the earth to tremble and the mountains to shake. The words that came out of his mouth were like thunder. He lifted the Devil Mountain up. His Majesty. It's His Majesty. Kai Hua's eyes were filled with excitement. Even the 5-finger Devil Mountain was lifted up by His Majesty. I knew it. How could a mere Devil Mountain suppress His Majesty? Ying Kong said excitedly. The 4 legions and 1,200,000 elite soldiers were all staring at the Devil Mountain with burning eyes. They seemed to be waiting for their king to break the Devil Mountain in one fell swoop and break free. Once again, he would lead them to dominate the world. The pressure was everywhere. Boom boom boom. Of course, Great Emperor Shroud Heaven's seal wasn't something that could be broken so easily. Not even the heavenly demon, the bottle gourd, was strong enough to break Devil Mountain. At this moment, Di Shitian's aura was unparalleled. He was indomitable, and was about to tear the 5 fingers Devil Mountain apart. His demonic body expanded violently, growing to 15,000 feet tall. He was like a giant that pierced through the clouds. However, when he grew up, he saw that the originally 10,000-meter tall Demon Mountain also began to expand at a speed visible to the naked eye. As he grew, so did the Demon Mountain. When Di Shitian reached a height of 10,000 meters, the martial Devil Mountain had already transformed into a terrifying mountain peak that was tens of thousands of meters tall. Boundless energy gushed forth endlessly from the Devil Mountain, landing on Di Shitian. Crack! Under this terrifying pressure, every muscle in his body trembled violently. Even his bones emitted an unpleasant cracking sound. Within the Devil Mountain, there was a force that wanted to crush him completely. If Di Shitian could lift millions of kilograms of weight, then the force coming from the Devil Mountain was at least billions of kilograms. Especially under the Devil Mountain, the entire space seemed to be locked down in an instant. He couldn't move an inch. It was as if the entire world was pressing down on him. Fighting against the Devil Mountain was like fighting against the entire world. Great Emperor Shroud Heaven, you and I cannot exist under the same sky. Open. Di Shitian's face revealed a hint of madness. Divine light burst forth as he roared. Between his brows, the heavenly punishment divine eye opened. The purple-gold eyes were like the heavenly Tao that looked down on all living beings. Crack. A ray of divine light shot out from the heavenly punishment divine eye. The divine light of annihilation slammed into the Devil Mountain. The destructive power of annihilation caused the Devil Mountain to tremble violently. Demonic chi burst out from the Devil Mountain, and a terrifying hole appeared on the mountain. The heavenly punishment divine eye was about to pierce through the Devil Mountain. Great destruction. The Devil Mountain shook, and countless demonic lights flashed. A terrifying devil god 3,000 feet tall stood on the five-finger Devil Mountain, exuding a vast amount of demonic chi. He glanced at the Devil Mountain under his feet, and the illusory Great Destruction spear in his hand shot directly at Di Shitian. The spear strangely passed through the Devil Mountain. It didn't cause any damage. The spear stabbed directly at Di Shitian. 7 sins demonic zither. The thick earth bears all things, and I stand on the earth. I have infinite power. The origin of earth, protect me. Unbreakable defense. Di Shitian's heart went crazy. The 7 sins demonic zither flew out from the top of his head. On the zither, the earth-yellow spiritual pearl immediately glowed with divine light. It turned into strands of silk that hung down. In the blink of an eye, a large earth-yellow bell was formed around him. It seemed to be illusory, but also real. Protect the body. Boom. The spear hit the bell. Suddenly, the power of great destruction and the origin of earth collided. The explosive power instantly annihilated everything around and turned them into dust. The illusory Great Destruction spear and the bell disappeared at the same time. The divine light on the 7 sins suddenly dimmed. It seemed to have suffered a heavy blow. Crack. Boom. The Devil Mountain was filled with terrifying power in an instant. Countless demons flew around, and thousands of demonic chi raged. The power of the entire heaven and earth gathered on the Devil Mountain. The power that erupted suppressed Di Shitian on the spot. The Devil Mountain, which was lifted high, fell to the ground with a loud bang. It merged with the earth again as if it had taken root. A terrifying devil mark appeared on each of the 5 fingers of the Devil Mountain. It was as if there was a great principle contained in the demonic patterns. It was filled with the great destruction intent. This Devil Mountain is connected to heaven and earth. If you push the Devil Mountain, it's equivalent to pushing the entire heaven and earth. The power of the entire demon realm is gathered on this Devil Mountain. If you want to lift the mountain, it's equivalent to lifting the entire demon realm. Hiss. My goodness, that great emperor is indeed a ruthless person. It's obvious that he wants to suppress you here. Without the cultivation of a heavenly demon, you can't open the Devil Mountain. Dark felt the restrictive power around him. It was from the entire heaven and earth. He couldn't help but suck in a cold breath. There's a great destruction demon god suppressing the mountain. He's comparable to a heavenly demon, and with the 5 fingers Devil Mountain as his backing, his power is almost endless. Outside can't save us. Vicious. Too vicious. The great Emperor of Heaven shrouding clearly wanted to completely suppress Di Shitian here. He had calculated all kinds of possibilities, including the possibility of him lifting the mountain if he recovered. The Devil Mountain was even more terrifying than the 5 fingers Devil Mountain. The void was sealed, and there was no way to leave this place through the void. The Devil Mountain had merged with heaven and earth. Going against the Devil Mountain was equivalent to going against the entire demon realm. It would definitely be suppressed. Even if a heavenly demon was in his situation, they would be helpless against him. He could only watch as he was suppressed. Di Shitian snorted coldly. His body had already turned into the size of a normal person. Outside his body was an oval-shaped cave. It was like a sealed secret chamber, firmly trapping him in this narrow space. I refuse to believe he can really trap me. Come out, Linglong Treasure Pagoda. With a wave of his hand, the Linglong Treasure Pagoda appeared above his head, emitting a purplish golden light, giving off a mysterious aura. He stubbornly said, "Today, I will enter the Linglong Treasure Pagoda. Since the Devil Mountain is suppressing me, I don't believe that the Linglong Treasure Pagoda can't escape." He thought to himself, and without hesitation, entered the Linglong Treasure Pagoda. Without any hesitation, he entered the pagoda without a hitch. The pagoda flew into the air, and with a shake of its body, ripples spread out in all directions. It was about to escape the Devil Mountain. Bang! However, the space around the Linglong Treasure Pagoda seemed to have turned into an invisible barrier. Every inch of space was filled with countless terrifying shackles that solidified the entire space, turning it into the most terrifying barrier that was incomparably hard. The Linglong Treasure Pagoda hit the void, as if there were countless terrifying ropes that were tied around the Linglong Treasure Pagoda, making it difficult to move. How insidious! Di Shitian appeared from the Linglong Treasure Pagoda again. His gaze swept across the surroundings, and a cold glint appeared in his eyes. How could he not know that this time, he was completely imprisoned in this bullshit Devil Mountain? It was really difficult to move, and he was really going to be suppressed here for 500 years. This kind of imprisonment, with his strength, could not be shaken at all. His eyes flashed crazily for a long time. Finally, it was replaced by a cold and meaningful look. He looked at the sky with cold arrogance, and suddenly shouted, "For great armies, listen to my order. Subordinate is here." With a crash, the army of 1.2 million responded in unison. At the same time, they knelt down on one knee in the direction of the Devil Mountain, and their faces revealed a serious expression. Their expressions were solemn. Immediately withdraw from the 5 Fingers Devil Mountain, find the Demon Empress, and follow her. Listen to her orders. A mere Devil Mountain is not enough to trap me. After a few days, I will naturally break out of the mountain and fight with you on the battlefield again. Di Shitian said coldly. This, Kai Hua and the others showed a hint of hesitation in their eyes. However, due to their supreme confidence in Di Shitian, they still agreed, "We will obey His Majesty's order. Today, I will be suppressed by the 5 Fingers Devil Mountain. When I break out in the future, I will wash the sky with the blood of the Sky Demon, pave the road with the flesh of the Demon God, and build a monument with the flesh of the Demon God. When I break out of the mountain, I will use the rain of blood as a sacrifice. The demons will weep in grief." Di Shitian muttered a sentence, and his voice echoed in the battlefield. It emitted a strange aura. It was like a prophecy, but also like a confidence. "Lunatic Di, how do you want to break out of this Devil Mountain?" Dark asked hesitantly. "Build the 1,000 Demon City." Sakura calmly spat out a sentence. With a wave of his hand, the exquisite pagoda instantly enlarged and stood in the middle of the Devil Mountain, supporting it. His body swayed, and he entered the pagoda. Monthly votes. We are going to move the mountain. If you want to know what will happen, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.